Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
This week, in Foster, Rhode Island, some teenagers have a strange ongoing beef with a local police officer that ends in an unexpected bloodbath that leaves the whole area very freaked out. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another episode of Small Town Murder. Crazy as usual, and weird little small town stuff going on today, which is really what we have in the whole of the series.
It's the catalog, yeah.
Very quickly here, top of the show, just want to say Chicago, August the 12th. Get down there. Yeah. It's going to be our biggest show ever. Get your tickets live. It's going to be, we're going to do a special Chicago-only live show.
A one-off.
So we're not going to do it at any other venue at any other time this year. It's going to be a one-off show just for Chicago. So I don't care where you've seen it before. Get to Chicago and come see us. You know, if you've been to other cities and you're like, I don't want to see the same show or whatever, you'll see it there. So come there. Shutupandgivememurder.com. A lot of the other shows are sold out. There are tickets left for Dallas, D.C., a couple there, Philly, Atlanta, Charlotte. Right. So there are your options. Otherwise, it is all sold out. So thank you for buying those tickets. You definitely also want Patreon. Patreon.com/crime and sports. You get all the bonus stuff there.
Yeah.
A couple hundred bonus episodes to binge on there.
Shit piles.
Anybody, shit piles. Anybody $5 a month or above, you get all of that, and you get 2 new ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get it all. This week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about in-ring boxing deaths. So, yes, what's a bad way to die? To be beaten to death in front of thousands of people would be my, well, I'm top of my list probably. So we'll check.
They've done everything they can to not make that happen. They've hired personnel to make sure you don't.
Happens anyway, though. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about a crazy documentary and the aftermath of it specifically. We're going to talk about American Hollow, which was from like 1999.
Right.
They make the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia look like royalty. They really do.
Pretty
I mean,
wild.
they are. It's Mudlick, Kentucky, up in an abandoned holler they live, and it's wild stuff. And then murder springs from this later on that you can see happening in the documentary. It's like, you're going, that guy's going to kill somebody, and then he does. So we'll talk all about that. That is patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all that. And you'll get a shout-out at the end of the show where Jimmie will most certainly mispronounce your name, even though he'd love to get it correct. You also want to keep an eye out for Your Stupid Opinions, our new show.
It is happening.
The show's done. We have it ready. It's all ready to go. We're just waiting on some business stuff that we have no control over. We just don't. We're waiting on paperwork and feeds and things that we have to go, okay, tell us when it's ready. So we're waiting on it. We'll let you know as soon as it's ready, and we're going to put it out, and we cannot wait because the show's awesome, and we're excited for it. Your Stupid Opinions, get ready for it very soon. That said, disclaimer time. This is a comedy show.
It is.
We're comedians. People will die in terrible ways, and there's going to be jokes as well. But what we do about this to make it, tasteful, for Christ's sake, we're not trying to be awful people here, is we go out of our way. We never make fun of the victim or the victim's family.
Why is that?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags. That's how that works. Yeah, so if that sounds good to you, you're going to hear a crazy-ass show. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever go together, then this might not be a good pick for you, but you've been warned. No complaining.
You did this.
You did this to yourself, damn it. You owe this to yourself. But for the rest of you that want to hear a wild story and some crazy stuff here, I think it's time, everyone, to sit back. Let's go. Let's all clear the lungs, and let's all shout, Jimmie, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody. Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Go.
Let's do this. We're going to Rhode Island this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, up in a tiny state, the tiniest state there is.
It.
Yeah,
it's so nice.
It's a speck. Blink and you'll miss it, but it is pretty. You got a lot of rocky beaches. You got good Italian food there. It's a good place overall, Rhode Island. I don't mind it. And this is Foster, Rhode Island.
Okay.
It is northern Rhode Island, very close to Connecticut, which, I mean, everything is pretty close to Connecticut and Rhode Island, but specifically in relation to other things in Rhode Island, it's pretty damn close to Connecticut here.
Tell me about how it got its name, because everything there is named Foster.
Everything, I'm sure. It's 32 minutes to Providence, so half hour to the capital there, and then 46 minutes to Barrington, which was our last episode in Rhode Island, which was Smart People, Stupid Murder, and that was a fun one. So I remember that. This is in Providence County, in the main county, area code 401. Now, originally, Foster was settled, a little history here, in the 17th century by British colonists as a farming community.
Is that right?
Set aside for farming. In the year 1662, William Vaughan Zachariah Rhodes, there's always a Zachariah mixed in back then.
Sure.
And everything that ever happened, there's a story. It was like this guy, and Zachariah Thompson, always. That's always what it is. And Robert Westcott purchased this land from the local Indian tribe as a large tract of land called West Quannog, which not Quahog, Family Guy people, just Quannog, which was bordering on Providence.
Is it not Conog?
It might be I guess it would be Quannog.
Right?
I call it Quannog. Yeah, it'd be Quannog, so it'd be like that. That purchase included nearly the whole southern half of the town of Foster. So that's kind of how this started. First, Foster was just incorporated as a part of Scituate, which is another town there. Yeah. That's back in 1730. I mean, we're talking literally long 300 years ago, pretty much. That was formed the western part of that, and it remained with that town until 1781 when it split off and made its own town and it was named for U.S. Senator Theodore Foster.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he from here?
That'd be really weird if he wasn't.
He's from Texas.
He's just Indiana Senator Theodore Foster. We all just admire him so much for here in Rhode Island.
Like the guy.
I just watch him work. I go down to Washington. I see the guy. He makes speeches.
He's really voting. Jesus.
That some bitch is voting on bills, and I'm just, you know what?
This is a vote.
We're naming this town Foster. We'll name it Teddy Foster if you got a problem with that. I'll make it even more specific. Telling you, don't mess with my love of
from there. Yes,
mess with my love of T-Fost. You know what I'm saying? In the 1920s, here's something you didn't expect to hear about when you're in a northern Rhode Island town. In the 1920s, the Klan was active in this area.
Is that right?
Yeah, the Ku Klux Klan was active here. The largest Klan rally ever held north of the Mason-Dixon line.
That's not something you want in your
not something you're bragging about. We had the largest Klan rally north of the Mason-Dixon line. Jesus, not exactly. You don't want that on the sign coming in, you know. Population this many, the town of, of dreams, and then, largest Klan rally north of the Mason-Dixon line. It was held on Old Home Day grounds in 1924 with 8,000 people there.
Jesus.
And a U.S. Senator from Alabama, J. Thomas Heflin, was the main speaker, of course. And apparently this was for the whole first half of the 1900s, the first half of the 20th century, it was just Foster had tons of racial issues like that. Wow. A lot of Klan activity and shit, but it doesn't seem to be that way now.
They
seem to chill out about it a little bit. Yeah, a little bit here. So reviews of this town. Let's find out what the people who live there and go there actually think of it. We don't know. We don't go here. So
how the fuck would I know?
We have no idea. Reviews here. Here's one. 5 stars.
Oh.
All right. Beautiful is the first sentence. Beautiful. And like we said, Rhode Island, very pretty.
It is very nice.
5-acre minimum zoning laws keep neighbors at bay. All big, giant lots here. Yeah.
Really?
But when you need them, they're there for you. Small town where most people know one another. People maintain their property. No litter. No crime. We'll talk about that. Maybe there's no litter, no crime. Quiet, traditional New England town where people respect their country and their veterans. Active Boy Scout troop.
That's not good.
Okay. Old home days in July with a supper shed, 4-H shows, tractor pulls, and a pie eating contest. It's
Americana.
It's Stand By Me. It's where the kid throws up in pie eating contest and Stand By Me. This is where people want to raise their families, the opposite of city life. Okay, this person really enjoys this whole deal here. Here's 4 stars. The properties around here are well taken care of. They all seem to have their unique differences with a good amount of land to match, keeping everyone fairly far from each other.
That's awesome.
I love some space. I hate being on top of a neighbor like that. That's not great. 3 stars. This is a little... I love when they start getting a little less enthusiastic here. 3 stars. The food is not terrible. Okay, that's helpful.
Is it a restaurant or is it a town?
It's none of the food. Although the potential of the quality rising seems slim. And so it has no chance of improvement.
Okay.
It's not terrible, but it's certainly not going to improve. I get the notion from this area that things have been done this way for so long and show no sign of changing.
300 years, man.
Yeah, they make it like that because that's how they like it there. That's why. If it's not good enough, that's fine, but that's how they like it. 3 stars. I really like the trash pickup. Yeah, I love having my trash picked up too. It's great. The towns around us don't have it, but I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoy not living in my own refuse. Yeah. That's really fun for me. Anyway,
not a fan of the trash burn pit out back.
No. I enjoy you picking it up and taking it away, and I go, don't know where it's going, and I don't really care, and then I go back in my house. That's what I like. 2 stars.
Oh, don't worry, James. It's going to end up in the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, I'm sure someday I'll care, and it'll come back to bite me. But it's nice when you just see the truck take it away. You go, well, not my responsibility anymore.
Right
you
now,
go inside.
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, there they go. 2 stars. I currently live in a very secluded Oh, and they forgot the word area, I feel like, in here.
Okay,
I currently live in a very secluded area where it is next to impossible to gather all needed items from the nearby stores. Okay, I think that's the sentence they were going for. Yeah. If one wants to make a purchase, he or she must order it online or travel a minimum of 15 to 20 minutes to the nearest shopping center. That's not 15 minutes, isn't that bad? You just live outside of town. That's all. You're fine. You're good. Calm down. 1 star. The town has more corruption than any other town in Rhode Island. Here we go.
Oh.
And we'll hear about some of it this week, too. They do not enforce town ordinances. Those bastards. Wow. I thought I bought my home in the country. My neighbor was allowed to install culverts in a gravel road. Bastard. String him up. Let's go. Pitchforks and torches, everybody. There's a culvert.
The man's affecting whether or not his property floods. This is bullshit.
Bullshit. I will not have it. What's he going to put in next? French drains? No, not on my watch. He doesn't maintain them, and the road washes away every rainstorm. I now have water damage to my property. I have asked the town to enforce their own ordinances, but Thrust won't. I don't know if that's a person, but Thrust won't because he's one of their friends. Yeah, this is what this is. It's a small town. Everybody got their fingers in everybody else's pie. 1 star. This is insane. This is the funniest one. 1 star. I hate snow. Well, you live in Rhode Island, so
New England at all.
What I would suggest is moving to places with less snow. Jimmie, when's the last time it snowed in Phoenix?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, right? Because, I mean, we're sitting in New York now, but in Phoenix, you were just there. Was it snowing last week when you were there?
15, 20 years.
20 years for what? 15 minutes, I think it snowed? Yeah.
11 seconds.
He says, there is so much snow that I have been thinking of moving to California. Okay, well, there you go.
Be careful there too, friend.
Yeah, get down south and it'll snow less. Perfect plan. Fuck off then. Enjoy.
Don't move to the Cascades.
Let's stay out of the Sierra Nevadas if you could.
Yeah.
People in this town, population 4,505. So it's a small town.
It's a little guy, yeah.
Yeah, more males than females, which is not normal. And it's like almost 52% male too. So that's not usual. And the median age is older too. It's 48.7. Normally when it's older, you'll have more females. So that's a little odd. 51% married. It's all kind of normal in the married stats, and it's kind of typical small town USA. Race of this town, 94.7% white, 0.3% black, which is not surprising when you boast the largest Klan meeting north of the Mason-Dixon line in the history of the nation.
This sounds very Klan-approved.
Yeah. 0.5% Asian, so not a lot of Asian people either. 0.9% Hispanic, so it's not a lot of, it's pretty white. You know, it's Rhode Island. Religion in this town, 54.4% religious, and not going to shock you here, 45.1% of the people here are Catholic. Catholics are, as we know, the Baptists of the North. They are everywhere. And 1.2% Jewish.
Holy!
Finally, it's been so long. 1 point. Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila. I don't know the words. Hey! All right, we did it. I'm so happy. Let's see. Last election here, 60.5% of the people voted Democratic, 37.6% voted Republican, and 1.9% independent. Unemployment rate here is slightly above the national average, but the median household income also a little bit higher. Normally about $54,000. Here it's $80,720. So
hell yeah,
pretty high.
But you're going to need it.
Cost of living also high. 100 is average. Here it's 132 in cost of living. Median home cost $447,800. A little high. So if we've convinced you that you don't mind snow, first of all, that's number one in all, or culverts, handmade culverts, we have for you the Foster, Rhode Island Real Estate Report. Okay, your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for $1,460. So
very high, right?
Little high,
well, a little bit.
Little high, but not as high as the home prices, actually. Here's a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet, and like we said, it's the 5-acre rule they have here. So this is on 5.2 acres. All these houses are on a big property. There's no interior shots of this house, which is a little frightening, I'll be honest with you.
It's distressing for sure.
The outside looks a bit abandoned, too. I'm not going to lie.
Boy.
This looks like somebody left it, and, it's like a little Evil Dead-y. It's got a little Evil Dead vibe to it, where there's definitely a Necronomicon in the basement. You should be careful.
And there's a 5-acre radius where your screams may die.
Oh, yeah. You could drive your car through the woods like Ash and all that. It's all fine. $375,000 for this. So
that's not too bad.
Not bad, because you're getting 5 acres. That's the thing.
That's
so
a lot,
it's not going to be cheap. Here's one 6-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,895 square feet. So pretty big house. Almost 6 acres. Almost.
Wow.
It's built in 1800, and it looks like it's built in 1800. There's no interior shots, so that tells you a lot. And also, there is, the roof doesn't look all that. It looks a little droopy. There's a wheelchair ramp that I certainly wouldn't put anybody that I cared about in a wheelchair up or down.
It's a little saggy.
So it looks like it would just collapse, and this poor person would be dumped from their chair. It's not good. The house is. It needs some updating, I would say. It's for the last 150 years. It's $380,000 for it, though. So it's good potential if it's not a complete disaster inside. 4-bedroom, 4-bath, T-bowl for each and every beehole. 3,168 square feet, 6.5 acres. It's also built in 1800, but it's a little bit. The inside is done like HGTV. Like they just flipped it and put the countertops and gray shit and all the newfangled crap, basically.
All the new stuff.
It's all there. All the pictures look superimposed, even though they're not. When they show you, we're going to build this house, and they have pictures of what it will look like. It looks like that, but it's not. It's very strange. $625,000 for that house.
Not even $1 million.
Not even $1 million, but 6.5 acres. It's move-in ready, so there's that. It's pretty on the outside, too. Looks nice and scenic. Things to do here. Not much, I'll be honest with you.
Is that right?
I mean, Foster old home days, as we talked about.
There you go.
Where they had the Klan rally on the grounds of this place. It's held every year during the last weekend in July. It was started in 1904 by the Old Home Association to raise funds to repair the town's buildings. Yeah. The affair consisted of dinner served at tables that were wood put on, what are those things? The horses,
carriages?
No,
wagons?
No.
Saddles.
Not an actual horse.
Oh.
That you put wood on to saw it in the middle.
Sawhorses?
Sawhorses. There you go. Jesus Christ. I said horses and saws. I couldn't get those together.
This is not my fault.
No, I'm not blaming you for this at all. Yeah, I said horses, and you went on the horse down the.
Oh boy, I know some things on horses.
Galloping down the horse trail there.
I got this. Don't worry.
Jimmie started neighing like crazy. I'm like, listen. He's like, that's all I heard on the other end.
This is a good boy. Give me an apple.
Oh, he's a good boy. Let's pet his head. So he had a clam bake. They had a clam bake, and they had all this shit going on there. And they keep doing it anyway. The Vasa Day Swedish Festival.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck that's all about, but there's a flag ceremony, music and children's games, a sawdust pile. I don't know what that's all about, but
I bet you I know.
They put stuff in it and send kids in it to find it.
You betcha.
There you go, kids.
Go sift through it.
Inhale sawdust. Enjoy. Swedish meatball dinner as well. A lot of pickled stuff, pickled beets, pickled cucumbers, lingonberries. I don't know.
Is that what the Swedes do? They pickle shit?
It's cold up there. Got to pickle things for the winter. They last when you pickle them. $2 gate fee for those not attending the dinner. Okay. Then finally, Floodfest. Floodfest. Right. And I love how they're marketing here. Quote, "We are wicked excited to bring Floodfest back to the woods of Foster, Rhode Island." We're wicked excited. Oh.
This is why I love New England, because they don't care that you make fun of
We're wicked excited. What do we care? We are. What do you want? We're wicked excited.
Hey, you think that's a weird word to say?
Yeah.
Have a dunk. Shut up.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. For yet another year of amazing local music. This is a local music festival.
Oh, boy.
With musical backgrounds ranging from country, rock, blues, funk, and soul. We've got you covered.
All
Except
right.
that it all sucks would probably be the only thing that they
You
didn't
want to hear
do.
all of these genres eat shit together?
Yeah, want them to all suck? You want to hear a metal band that was in someone's garage follow a fucking weak jazz quartet of four grandfathers? Let's do it.
Come
We're gonna
on
put
down.
that together here. We can't wait to bring you another show jam-packed with music, friends, and summer fun. At 9 in the morning, by the way, this starts, Jabberwocky comes on. That's the opening band.
A single one, or not all of them?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Jabberwocky is the closer at 9 p.m.
Oh, okay.
This
Is it just one?
one Jabberwocky,
It's a single one?
but
'Cause
the walkie is like Milwaukee.
two
That's
E's.
how they spell it. Yeah, walk-e, and it's Jabberwocky.
Yeah,
one
that's
word.
It's one word. It's one person. There's no Z
No, just one.
because they're Jabberwockies and they dance.
Yeah, but I think what they're saying is
This
they're
is local one. This is
Well-
one guy that lives here.
yeah, it's kind of like you're a member of the Utah Jazz. You can't be a
Yeah.
jazz on your own, but together you can make jazz, I suppose. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
It's a Jabberwocky that does a Jabberwockies thing.
Yeah, that's something to do with that. Well, at 3 p.m., James and the Giants come on. So
Missing the
there's
peach
that.
tree, but
But
yeah.
Nope, I was going to say they leave the peach tree behind. Can't take it on the road with them. At 4 p.m., Tai Chi Funk Squad comes out, which that sounds like a nightmare. 5, Nick Bossy and the Northern Roots come on there. 6 o'clock, Rat Ruckus comes on.
Oh,
1T, though. I was hoping it was a rat cover band. That would be great.
no, this is fucking. This is way worse. This is going to be a dude with
This
a
is-
stand-up bass, and they're like trying to jam like fucking swing music. That's what it sounds
Well,
like.
what about 7 o'clock when Rumble Cats come on? I think that's what they're going to be
That
doing.
feels like
Yeah.
the same guys.
And then 8 o'clock, Northeast Traffic. And then 9 o'clock, closing it all out, the aforementioned Jabberwocky. So,
One.
One. And the tickets for this are $25 fucking dollars.
How dare you?
25. If you show up, they should thank you for coming. These are, I assume, bands that need their family members to show up at gigs still. So how dare you charge $25 for this? That better come with food or something. Tickets will be mailed out 2 weeks before the event, too, to make it more inconvenient. There's no
You
digital
want me
tickets.
to pay in advance for
In
this
advance,
shit?
mail me out the tickets, and then I have to not lose them. So we're going to do all this stuff here.
And then I'll feel like a piece of shit that just wasted $50 if I don't bring her with me.
Well, if you show up, you'll still feel like you wasted $50, but at least you'll have done something that day. You know what I mean?
One way or another, I'm going to
Yeah.
feel like I wasted money.
So crime rate in this town. Oh,
But
and
I
also
did see a Jabberwocky.
one. Tickets also family friendly as well. They say here. So I guess there's not going to be live sex acts on stage between. I guess James and the Giants aren't James and a bunch of huge guys with
James
big
and
cocks.
the giant cocks.
That are going to have a huge orgy on stage. So it's family friendly. I was worried about that too. When I saw that, I'm like, oh man, it's going to be
boy.
it's going to be filthy in here, I bet. And
James is going to be glazed in front of the kids.
it's going to be wild, man. Wild. All dogs and pets must remain on a leash, no matter what. So there's that. Now, crime rate in this town, they did say in that review, low crime. Let's find out. Property crime, about half the national average. So
Very low, yeah.
very low. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is less than half the national average. So
Very safe.
very safe town, kind of out in the middle by itself. And it really can't be changed that much because there's not a lot of towns that have only 5-acre lots where there's tons of crime.
Right.
It's just a lot of walking to do that much
Yeah, right.
crime. It's just not a lot of gathering places.
There's not a lot of room for this town to grow either to get more people there because you've got
Yes.
a 5-acre fucking curfew
Yeah.
on your building.
That's
So,
it. So
I
you're
mean,
not.
if you're kind of landlocked there, and you're in a very small town in the smallest state.
In the smallest state ever. It's
Yeah.
goddamn, it's like
There's
Luxembourg
water
over
one
there.
direction, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, you're trapped in there. So that all said, let's talk about some murder. What do you say, Jimmy? Because
Let's go.
yowie yow. Okay, let's do this. Let's go back to about 1993, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
Let's just go like opening day 1993.
Hell yeah.
Start there, beginning of 93, and let's talk about a couple of kids running around. Well, not kids, really, teenagers. A guy. First off, Frank Sherman. He is 16, and his brother Charles Sherman III, who is his older brother, who is 17. So there are a couple of local guys, and from what I can gather here, there are a couple of nice guys, kind of fun-loving, kind, nice guys who don't really have any drive. The old people would say, you don't have any drive in life. Look at you. You're a bum. Teachers would say they don't apply themselves. That's what they'd say. They don't apply themselves. Just kind of how they are. You know what I mean? Didn't give a shit about school. Wasn't what they were into.
I can relate.
In 93, or the beginning of that year, Charles was a 17-year-old sophomore, which is a bad sign.
Oh, yeah.
That's not great. Then, you don't want that. And his brother Frank is a 16-year-old freshman. Again, little old for that.
2 years behind also.
That's also 2 years behind. Yeah. So, obviously, their school has not been a real driving force in either of their lives. They're just...
the two of them are going to be 20-year-old seniors walking.
Yeah. They're getting through it, is what they're doing. They're the kids with beards when they're a freshman. That's a little weird. They both ended up just dropping out of Poneganyset Regional High School. They just said, fuck it. What's the point?
You can't be a few weeks shy of legally drinking beer being handled a high school diploma. You can't.
When you're driving to school your first day as a freshman, that's weird. At high school, you have to realize, I'm behind. This isn't going to work. When am I going to...
Driving to high school orientation isn't a good thing.
Fucking beer cans going out the window as you pull in. REO Speedwagon blaring out of it. MGD cans flying left and right.
Leaving freshman year day, your first day, and going to your job is weird.
It's strange. It's not normal. So... Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
They went there anyway. They dropped out, and they ended up moving. They were living with their father for a while, but then their father died. So, Charles Sr. died. We'll talk about that. So they ended up instead, or actually he was Charles Jr. This Charles III is Charles. Yeah. So they ended up, he ended up dying, and they ended up moving in back with their mother. Their mom's name is Charlotte, and they lived, with her, and they never enrolled in school at this new address again. They all moved to 188 Main Street in Burrillville, and they never re-enrolled in anything. So what they were into, it's not like they sat around the house with their thumbs up their asses. They weren't like that. They're really into cars. The brothers are, I mean, as hardcore gearheads as you want to hear. All they want to do, any cars, race cars, this car, that. All they want to do is fix cars, put cars together, restore cars, and they're really good at it, too. That's the thing.
There's money to be made, yeah.
Oh, there's money to be made, yeah. If you have your own shop or something, you can do really well, and especially if you have a specialty, if you do something like that. So they were all about it, though. One of their teachers said, quote, that they both lived for taking engines apart and putting them back together. Loved it.
Yeah, that's called meth.
But they could do it. They put it together correctly with no extra parts. So that's that's what a meth guy would love to do.
Yeah.
But they're like, fuck, where did this pump go?
Everybody knows that guy that blows your mind with how fucking good they are at pulling that shit apart, putting it back together, and it runs better.
They just know what they're doing. Yeah, some people can see things like that. Like Beethoven could see a piano. They could see that. You know what I mean?
They can understand timing and gears and gear ratio and all that shit. It's just fascinating.
Fits them. So one of their teachers, Michael Chamorra, let's hope he's not related to the other one here. Old Chewy here says that Charles was the type of person, quote, who when you needed a car fixed, you would trust Charlie to do it and he wouldn't overcharge you.
Oh.
So he was doing paid mechanical work for teachers.
Well, why the fuck can't he pass school, for Christ's sake?
That's because he's interested in that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he cares about. He's not doing homework. He's going home working on cars. That's what he likes. Frank here, his brother, they said he was the more gregarious one out of the two. They were both real into cars and all that, but Charles was just a little quieter. And
he kept his head under the hood, and Frank would tell you all about it.
Yeah, while he was wrenching, though, too, at the same time. And they said that, quote, you knew Frank was around. This is what Chamorra, the teacher, said. You knew Frank was around while Chuck was more in the background. Okay. So they said that's how it was. Frank was also into carpentry and electronics courses at school, too. He was into anything mechanical or anything fixing, building. He's
smart
guy, but cars are their number one love, and that's what they're like 1,000% all about, just cars. Sure. And their father, and it makes sense, too, when you hear about their background. Their father died when he was 49, by the way.
What was he doing?
He died. Well, he was a race car driver.
I was just going to say he was probably drag racing.
He raced the cars that the kids would build at the speed. Him and the kids would build cars, and they'd race them at the different speedways in Massachusetts and Connecticut. So that's pretty cool. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they had a thing going on with their dad, and then Dad died, but they continue, obviously, to be into the cars and following in with that.
He didn't wreck a car they built, did he?
No, not that we know of. Maybe he might have. They got mad at him, and
that's not what killed him.
That's not, from what I understand. There was no foul play suspected here in the death. It wasn't like they were beaten to death with a wrench after.
Or no flaming top fuel dragster that exploded because a kid didn't plug the fuel line in right.
Well, that'll happen with an injector, and he just keeps wiping down a wrench with a rag and walks away. You're like, what the fuck? That's terrifying.
Did he
That's
just
your dad.
wipe fingerprints off that wrench?
He goes, yeah, that'll happen with an injector. Wipe, and just turns and walks. Cops with notebooks out going, we're suspicious of that, right? That's his son. Right? That didn't seem right? So that's what they're into. Now there's a guy named Arthur Wilson. He owns a garage called Wilson's Garage.
Yeah, good.
Very creative,
not
but
a bad name.
Also fitting. And they worked on their cars, the Sherman boys, in Arthur Wilson's garage.
Okay.
That was his deal. Arthur Wilson was a friend of the dad and raced with the dad for many years. They were all kind of in this little local racing circles. So
give the boys a place. That's nice.
Well, yeah, Mrs. Sherman, the mom, their mom after Dad died, would pay Arthur Wilson $500 a month.
Oh, so it's not give the boys. It's make money off the boys.
It's rent though, because they're renting out 2 garage bays for the kids to just be able to work on cars there all the time.
Oh.
So the mom said, look, all you guys want to do is work on cars, and you actually do it for money and stuff. What if I rent you 2 bays of this garage so you can just do car shit all the time and you won't be jerking off, basically? And that's what the mom said, that it was, quote, just to keep them out of trouble. Just take that, do something productive and constructive with your time rather than doing nothing, which is good. She basically rented them an office to start a business out of, is what she did.
Right, exactly. Yeah. She gave them a brick and mortar to open their bullshit. Yeah.
She opened a little office in the back of another office is what they got. So it's nice. So they were really, really so into that. One guy who owns a restaurant here, a guy named Buddy Length, he owns a restaurant in Killingsley, Connecticut, which is just over the state line from Foster. He said that they would come in, these boys. They're both about 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, big kids, you know, and they'd come in, he said, just permanent, always had the grease stains on their hand that would never come off because they were always just under the hood.
You can use that hand wash.
That
smells like
shit
gasoline.
That smells so good. Yeah. I love the way that shit smells.
The super orange is my favorite one, but that white stuff is so gross, and it never gets the black. The cracks in your skin. And
I can't get out.
You'll always have a black hand.
Man, my dad had the and it's like in the garage up on the wall. My dad had that.
With a little squeeze thing on it that dispenses it, but nobody ever uses it. You always have the top open and you scoop your fingers in it. Yeah,
and you scoop. So I remember he'd bust that thing open. I'd be like, oh yeah, it smelled so fucking good. I'd want to get some shit on my hand so I could scoop it and then be like, yeah, go watch it. I love that. I like the smell of gasoline. That's why I always did. I always loved the smell of gasoline.
The super orange smells like oranges, and it's got like grit in it, and you barely have to use water with it. It just almost comes right off.
I want the gasoline shit. I want the gasoline stuff. Give me that stuff.
I'd use the gritty stuff and then the lava bar, and then my hands would be bright red. And then when the pink would go away, they'd still be black.
They go, oh, look, that's better. Oh, no, there's all crack. In the crack of every wrinkle in my hand, every fucking line I have has grease in it. Perfect.
I about pulled all my skin off, all the skin except for the grease-stained part.
Well, the grease is holding it to your body. It's good. It's helping. So this guy says they'd come into the restaurant, grease-stained hands, and sit down and eat like monsters, which he didn't mind. He's selling them food. He said they would polish off. This is awesome. They would each polish off 60 chicken wings and a pitcher of soda.
My God, that's so many chicken wings.
That's some eating. It would just take so long to eat that many chicken wings.
60.
I'd get so tired of dealing with the bones. I'd be like, can I just bite something? It's just so exhausting.
5 dozen, man. That's a
lot of wings. Yeah. If I eat 20, I'm like, whew, that was a lot of wings. 3 times that's a shitload and a pitcher of soda. So that's how they got down, though.
A dozen's not only exhausting, but then it's like you've got it all over the place. It's a mess.
It's everywhere.
That you've got to clean up now.
You're already covered in grease. What's the difference? Yeah. It's just another layer to put on there. A tasty layer, at least.
120 bones, James.
120 bones. Can you imagine eating like that? That's wild.
A pitcher of soda.
The pitcher. I drink my soda by the pitcher. That's all. Just put it right up to your mouth by that big handle and drink it out of it. That's too much soda.
84 ounces? Is that what that is?
What are you, a giant? Like that's...
It's like 2 quarts. That's so much.
I don't even know how much a quart is, but to drink 2 of them seems like a lot with one meal, right?
It's too many.
It's too many. It's at least where are we in the liters with quarts then? How about that?
That's probably 3 liters. I'll bet it is.
No, 3?
It's got to be.
3 is those big. Remember the 3-liter bottles of soda?
No, that's a 2-liter.
That's a 2-liter. They used to sell the 3 liters in grocery stores in the 80s.
I swear that's a pitcher.
And it even had a fatter mouth on them, like the cheap brands. My grandmother used to buy them, and then she'd have the same sodas in her cabinet for like a year and a half that had been opened 12 times. They were the flattest things in the world, and that's what you'd have to drink. That was good. There's soda under in the cabinet. Oh, in the hot cabinet that's been opened when I was here for Christmas. Thank you. Thanks, Grandma.
Opened in 91.
Yeah, this is terrific. Thank you. Yes, no, it's great orange soda now. It's wonderful. No fizz at all when you open the bottle.
It says orange soda on the label. That's it.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a ShopRite brand she used to buy. The big 3 liters of ShopRite brand back in the day.
3 liters.
3 liters, because that was cheap. You could get the ShopRite brand was like 79 cents for a 3 liter. And it was terrible soda, too. It was awful. It was gritty and nasty. It wasn't good soda at all. But it was worse when it was flat.
Yeah. The original Costco business plan is sell it in bulk. Just unload the shit.
Just sell a big giant vat of shit for no money. They'll buy it. So these two boys, as we talk about, have, they're good-natured kids. No one's got any problems with them. They keep to themselves. All they do is kind of
hard workers with the big appetite.
They have big appetite. They eat. They hang out. They do car shit. That's it. January 9th, 1993. Okay. Charles is stopped by a police officer. In his car for some traffic infractions here. So he is stopped by a cop named Robert G. Sabetta Jr. So he got a junior pulling over of the third.
Oh, boy.
Lots of bad stuff could happen here. It's May 1969 is when he's born, Robert Sabetta Jr. So he's a young guy at this point. I mean, he's 24. Not even 24. He's 23. So young kid pulling over a 17-year-old here. And Robert Sabetta, he graduated from the same high school those two dropped out of. He graduated in 1987. He grew up on Cucumber Hill Road in Foster, and he had moved to Cranston, North Carolina. Rhode Island. What? North Carolina. Why would North Carolina come out? That makes no sense whatsoever. Nowhere near. Has nothing to do with anything. I don't even know if there is a Cranston, North Carolina. It's not like it was Charlotte, Rhode Island, and I said Charlotte, North Carolina. That would make sense. So the principal there, Richard C. Oswald, said that Sabetta was a serious-minded student, very friendly, never in trouble. A lot of people describe him as kind of meek and quiet. That's
a cop.
Meek comes up a lot. A guy who was
cop, right?
there. Meek in high school, and some of them are like that. That's a lot of. It's like a percentage of the and cops know those guys too.
Oh yeah,
they're like, that's the guy who's you're not going to push me around anymore. You're that guy. Yeah, they know that guy.
I'm going to pull my bully over and give him a big ticket.
That's what it is exactly. Now his dad was a cop too.
Okay.
So this is kind of a family thing. So he's a second generation cop, which is a big deal in the Northeast. There's a lot of that, in Boston and New York. There's third, fourth generations of cops now. That's the whole thing. So Robert had worked for the police department for a couple of years before he got on as a patrolman too. So he's been with the force since like 1989, since right after, a year and a half after high school. First he was a dispatcher. And that's where they start them out. I guess that makes sense so you understand how everything works.
Yeah, you know the lingo, you know what you're listening to, you know what you're being told and where you're told to go. And
what you're supposed to
say. Hear what's happening before you get to see it. That's probably for the best.
Hear how the experienced officers say things and do things.
Right.
Then
you can't hear, oh, my God, there's so much blood. You don't want to see, oh, my God, there's so much blood.
Yeah. Oh, if you go, ew, gross, and put the microphone down and go, I don't want to talk to him. He's talking about blood and things, and it's disgusting. It's probably not good for your future job prospects. You're definitely not going to be a homicide detective, we'll say.
Hope you like this job because you're going to do this one forever.
For a long time. So he was a reserve officer and dispatcher from 88 to 89. Did all of from 88 to 89 through 91, and then became a full-time officer in 91. So been about a year and a half since he's been on the force full-time here. And he's known, here's a woman who manages the local Extra Mart, with the X. You see those in Phoenix, the Extra Mart. It's like outside of a gas station.
Okay.
I think they like AM PM kind of a thing. She said that Sabetta used to come in at the end of his midnight shift to order a carton of Autocrat coffee milk and a pastry. Coffee milk? A carton of coffee milk?
There's got to be a comma there, right? Coffee, milk, and a pastry?
No, there wasn't. It's a carton of Autocrat coffee milk and a pastry.
That must be like
what the fuck is this? Like half and half?
You don't just drink creamer, right?
That's what I mean. Did he order half and half and just start drinking it with a pastry walking out the door, like my cousin used to do?
What are you, the dude? Didn't he drink it in the aisle too?
I have a cousin that used to do at his christening. It's fucking hilarious. At his christening, he went around
just drinking coffee creamer.
It's at the Knights of Columbus in Beacon, New York, and all that shit. And there's all these tables and everything. He went around to every single table. Every table had the bowl in the middle with all the half and half and all that and the sweet and low. And he took every fucking creamer, every half and half, and downed them like shots. He was on like his 6th table before his mom caught him and was like, "What are you doing? Like you're
gonna get sick."
I can't imagine what his shits looked like that night. He probably exploded or she's still waiting to shit. I'm not sure.
My daughter used to stick her canine through the vanilla one at the table and then just suck on it.
Just suck. At least that's one.
Yeah.
He was going around like he was like, it looked like he was an alcoholic that was like, "I need a drink," and broke out of a facility and ransacked a closed bar and would just be like, that's what he was doing. He was tearing them off.
Ransacked a hotel that had all the rooms open and drank the mouthwash.
All of it. I saw him at one point. He went to one table. This is, I think he figured out a system toward the end before his mom caught him. The last 2 tables, he took them all out. I just watched the whole time because I thought it was hilarious.
It's gross.
He took all the tops off and lined them all up and then fucking shot them like bang, 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 bang in a row. Yeah, like machine gun style. Because at first he was doing one at a time. Shit, I guess he was like, "This is inefficient. I need a better way." And then
this is not quenching my thirst.
Yeah, that's probably how his mom caught him, like doing 8 consecutive fast shots. She's like, "What is he doing?" So I don't know what he's drinking, but that's weird. So she said that, I talk to him all the time. Seemed like a nice guy. He's a good guy. Everything's
just
good.
Can't handle coffee.
Doesn't want any coffee. Doesn't, and is very lactose tolerant. He tolerates the shit out of some lactose, boy.
Lactose tolerant.
Man, his constitution for lactose is something that I aspire to. So anyway, Sabetta pulls Sherman over. Yeah. Junior pulls the third over. It's for a minor motor vehicle infraction. Made a turn without a signal or some shit like that. And while he was doing that, he pulled him out of the car and searched him as well and confiscated a knife that Charles was carrying. Because he said it was too big for Charles to have this knife. So he took the knife away from him, which, Christ, I can't tell you how many times that happened as a kid. That was normal.
He's a mechanic. You kind of like a knife is so important when you're working on things.
But we don't know if he had like a Rambo knife on his side or something. You don't need a Bowie knife to fix a transmission. Yeah, like I don't know if he had like a little knife like you'd have to open packages. Like a lot of guys we know carry a knife on them I got that. My father, I've never seen him. Whips it right out. Cuts
some psychotic ocean fish descaling knife.
Yeah. So we'd have no idea. This you should be descaling deep water bonefish with this. What are we doing?
Some giant bent blade knife.
Big anglers with fucking lights dangling off the top. Is that what you're using this for? So he confiscates the knife. So it's a cop confiscating a knife from a 17-year-old kid. Seems like not a huge deal, correct? Right. Mm-hmm. If I was a kid, I'd go, shit, he got the knife. Thank God he didn't find that weed I have hidden over here, though. That's what I'd take it as one of those if I was his age.
It's a little victory.
Apparently, though, the kids took another route with this, and they were, for some reason, I don't know what the point of this was, okay? I don't know what they're thinking here, but later that same night, there's a car drove by the police station with its lights off a few times.
That sounds suspicious.
Drove back and forth. So that was, they looked at that as very suspicious, and so they didn't like that at all. And the police chief said a car came by the police station, turned its lights off, then drove away, and then came back. The officers went to see if any cars were damaged and what they were doing there. So maybe they were out fucking with cars, police cars, slashing tires or something.
You get your lights off, you don't want to be seen. That's obvious.
Why
don't you want to be seen? And we'll
in front of the police station.
Right.
Probably a bad idea. So Sabetta, he gets in his car, Sabetta Jr. here, gets in his car and pulls the car over.
Oh.
He finds the car and pulls it over a little bit down the road and around a corner here. Now, when he pulls the car over, it's Frank Sherman in the car.
Hey, just
Charles' brother.
Ago. Yeah.
It's Charles' brother, Frank.
Oh, it's his little brother.
It's his brother, Frank. So it's like, okay. And everybody knows everybody, so he knows he's his brother. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing driving by the police station? Right. Is it because I pulled your brother over? And, he thinks they were looking for revenge on him now, this Sabetta, which seems fair. They don't know.
It's plausible, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So, driving by, what was the plan? To go in and ask for the knife back or to try to steal it back, like Ocean's 11 style? You're going to break in through a vent? Or was it like, maybe we'll vandalize one of their cars. That asshole took my knife. Fuck him.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't know what the plan is, to be honest with you, because they're teenagers, and I don't, remember the ideas we could come up with when you're 16?
A teenager. Right. Try following their logic. It's impossible.
Good luck. It doesn't make sense. There's things there's a lot of switches being crossed and turned on and off at the same time, and wires that are messed up.
They have no income, yet somehow find themselves pregnant sometimes.
Yeah.
So best of luck keeping up with their logic. It's impossible.
Totally. I had a friend who, when you turn the radio off, the headlights would pop up on his car. That's a teenager sometime. You're like, there's an electrical malfunction here somehow. I turned the radio off and the headlights popped up out of the car.
Yeah, but that's how I know how to turn my headlights on.
Exactly. And that's a teenage brain, because I remember having that brain. So Sabetta pulls the car over, and Frank is taken out of the car, and Sabetta's got another cop with him. There's a couple cops there, and people can see this happening. I guess some words are exchanged. Sabetta's saying some shit to Frank, and Frank isn't as conciliatory as the cop would like him to be.
Yeah.
And some shit talking goes on back and forth, and we don't know exactly what the exact words were exchanged back and forth, but at some point, Sabetta takes his flashlight out and bashes Frank in the mouth with it and knocks his 2 front teeth out.
Well, you can't do that.
Can't do that to a 16-year-old, especially.
Right.
Can't do that to anybody, but to a 16-year-old, I don't think that's department regulation. If someone gets mouthy, take your flashlight out and bash them in the mouth with it. I don't think is probably what they taught him at the academy.
Unless he told you that he was just about to go rape your family as soon as you let these cops off.
I was driving by because I was hoping your daughter'd be out there so I could finger her. Would be the only way I could understand that. But maybe
flashlight
that would be.
To the teeth. That's
extreme. In the mouth, not even a punch. He couldn't even
something
flashlight.
That certainly removes teeth.
Yeah. The cops carry the big 3 D-cell mag lights. Those are big, giant
it's a heavy
flashlights.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, they are a weapon. They're a second nightstick. So he apparently knocks out his 2 front teeth, too. I mean, this is that's a problem. He's got to get that fixed. There's dental bills involved. And think about, too, if you get your front teeth knocked out, how fucked up your lip is and everything else. I mean,
there's blood everywhere.
Blood all over.
So bad.
Yeah, I mean, this is a mess in the street. And this is in the street. This isn't in a back alley somewhere. This is people are seeing that. So this was at night. By the next morning, there's a full-blown internal police investigation of Sabetta and this incident, because as soon as Frank Sherman gets home, his mom takes one look at him and goes, "What the fuck happened to you?
Yeah.
Who jumped you?" And he said, "Oh, I got pulled over and the cop did this to me." And the mother said, "Oh, hell no," and called the cops right away, called the police chief, got him on the phone. So immediately there's an internal investigation, and it leads to Sabetta being suspended without pay the next day, or with pay the next day.
That's the first step.
So the very next day he's suspended with pay. Get him off the street. The chief ordered that Sabetta turn in his service revolver and other equipment that he might have, any police stuff that you can use. So Sabetta shows up at the police station with a holster and a belt, but no gun.
Well, where's that at?
They're like, the holster's really probably the least thing we're concerned about, honestly.
This cow's dead. It's not a threat to anybody.
It's like showing up with bullets. Like, well, but what do they go in now? Yeah. Let's be honest here. So he shows up with no gun. So the Chief Cattell, went with Sabetta to his home to retrieve the gun. And it was weird because Sabetta told him to, the guy was going to come in, and Sabetta told him, "No, I don't want you to come in. I'll go get it for you." And I don't know if he was just kind of pissed off at him because he was suspended. Sabetta he's super pissed off that they suspended him. He's angry about that. He's angry with the department.
In your house, you're not in my house.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not good enough to be on the force because you want my gun. You can wait for it on the porch. So March of 1993, 2 months later, he's actually arraigned in Superior Court.
Yeah,
Sabetta is, with orders to stay away. They had restraining orders to stay away from Frank Sherman and any other witnesses leading up to the grand jury proceedings. And the chief said, though, he didn't seem angry. He wasn't angry or like, "Oh, those motherfuckers." Right. He just seemed upset. He said he seemed very frustrated. And, I think it's embarrassing, too, because Dad was a cop.
Yeah.
If Dad's a cop and then you're a cop and you're a fuck up, you're
new. You're a new cop and you're already fucking it up.
If you're Presbalewski and you're embarrassing everybody, it's not good, It's a Wire reference for people out there. So it's
on cops in alleyways.
Yeah, you're embarrassing Valchek. It's not going to work out. So the chief said, quote, he knew he was in trouble and his job was on the line.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 2 weeks later, he's indicted by a grand jury for assault with a dangerous weapon.
That's bad.
It's a felony. Yeah, It's a felony charge, and he's suspended without pay now.
Okay, now it's real bad.
So he's super fucking obviously not a happy camper right now.
Sure.
He's mad at everybody, and the kids are pissed off at him.
Sure.
I don't know if Charles is still mad at about his knife, but everyone's sure as hell pissed off that this guy bashed Frank's fucking teeth in with a goddamn flashlight. That's uncalled for.
Frank's missing the most important teeth he has.
Yes. Yeah. He looks like unless you're great at hockey, that's not a good look. If you're great at hockey, you can fuck supermodels with that look. You're fine, but that's the only time you can do that.
Right.
As if you're like an Eastern European guy who makes $14 million a year scoring goals.
You pop a retainer out that has a tooth on it, and it's a party trick.
Everybody laughs.
Right.
And you slurp spaghetti through it, and everyone cracks up laughing.
All that money, and all you lost was one tooth. That's amazing.
And then you kiss your hot wife and fucking skate off into the sunset. So, April 13th, 1993. All right, here we go. Frank and Charles, the brothers, are at Wilson's garage, their normal place. We'll call it their place of business because that's what they're doing there.
Their job. Yep.
Their job, even though a lot of times they're just working on their own stuff. But still, this is where they work out of. Yep. And they have a couple of their cousins there as well. It's at nighttime. Everybody's just hanging out 9, 10 o'clock at night working on cars.
The garage after hours is the coolest place to be. It's so fun.
Because it feels bright because it's dark outside.
Yeah.
The lights are very bright in the garage.
And you're doing something that isn't your job. This is like the fun thing that you want to do. This is the project that you're like, watch us put this fucking blower on this fucking microwave. It's going to be crazy.
Crickets and socket wrenches, those noises together go well.
It's so fun. So much beer
cricket. Yeah. Beer's just hanging out. They're just hanging out, bullshitting. They're working on their cars. It's Wilson's Garage and Auto Sales. It's on Route 6 in Foster. Yeah. And they have their cousins there. I don't know who. They say they're their cousins, but I mean, who knows how close, if they're actually related. Yeah, it could be this is my fourth cousin 8 times removed or whatever the fuck. But here are the cousins. Michael Clausen. He's 21 years old. He's there hanging out. Also, Daryl Drake, another cousin of theirs. He's 18 years old. Daryl is super into cars again. He's cars. He's currently, Daryl, enrolled in the adult education program in Cranston and is just about to receive his GED, high school equivalency diploma if you're not from here. So there you go. He's an assistant manager. No, he's not. He's a stock boy. Sorry. Okay. He works at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Well, not anymore he doesn't.
In Cranston. Not anymore. Oh, no, it just says the Bed and Bath store, so maybe that's not Bed Bath. They didn't get their Beyond yet at that point.
They're still working on beds and baths.
Yeah, they had their Bed and Bath, and then they were like,
later.
Somebody came in like 96, and they were like, guys, I got an idea.
Okay? We're going to sell KitchenAid, too.
We can sell overpriced shit for every room in the house. Bed, Bath, and Beyond. Yes. People will pay that much for that.
And spatulas. Watch out.
And they'll pay $14 for a spatula that melts the second you put it in a pan. They will. At least for a little while anyway, and then we'll all spectacularly crumble.
We'll put not dishwasher safe, real fucking small on it.
Yeah. So it comes out looking like a pretzel. People are going to love it. They'll come back and buy another one.
And then we'll sell them loofahs that fall apart.
Those too. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Overpriced comforters. So they said, here's an assistant manager from the Bed and Bath store in Cranston where Drake works as a stock boy, said, quote, he's an excellent worker and has never brought any problems to the job. Everyone knows he takes a lot of pride in his car, a Camaro.
Oh.
So, yeah, Camaro. And they also have Jeremy Bullock over here, who's a cousin/friend. He's 19 years old. Yeah. He's, again, super into cars. Sure. These guys are all hardcore gearheads here. I mean, everybody in this family. He's a big guy, Jeremy. 6'4", 350. That's a big, Big old boy, Jeremy is, yeah.
What's his truck look like?
I want to know how many wings he can polish off. That's what I want. Talk to the restaurant guy in there. If all three of them or this whole crew walks in, you go, do we have enough chicken? You start freaking out because you could run out fast.
Oh, my God, he's here.
Oh, no. All right. Did you special order? Is there enough? Jesus. So he's 19, Jeremy. And he goes to the Cranston Regional Vocational Technical School.
Yeah.
That's where he went to school. And the principal there said, even though he's that big, he's always a gentleman. For a guy his size, he's as gentle as a lamb.
Uh-huh.
Nice guy, gentle guy. His automotive teacher said that he's a very popular kid who spends most of his time, pretty much all of it, working on engines. Uh-huh. And he said he's a nice kid. I like him a lot. Yeah. So there you go. He also graduated from high school last year. High school.
So this is extra shit. This is just a mechanic school. Yeah.
He's going to an extra mechanic school to get some certification.
Sure.
It helps to get jobs. If you got to get transmission certified or whatever, you can.
ASC certified.
Yeah, they have all those different jobs. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, well, still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmy's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah. They're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, it's great. Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up. For energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff. And I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options. Nice. It's very cool. And you can personalize this portion and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Calling all dog owners. Your furry friend deserves top-notch nourishment, and Ollie delivers the clean, fresh nutrition your dog needs in 5 flavors they'll absolutely flip over. Ollie is made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world, with absolutely no harmful fillers or preservatives. With protein-first recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes, fresh turkey with blueberries, or fresh lamb with cranberries, you might start thinking, dang, my dog eats better than I do. And that's probably true when it comes to Ollie. Give your pup a fresh start this new year by letting them taste test a personalized meal plan with Ollie. Head to ollie.com/Wondery. Tell them all about your dog and use code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/Wondery and enter code WONDERY Hurry to get 60% off your first box. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie.
So, yeah, he lives in Foster there on Mount Hygeia Road, graduated from school. Now, the garage, Wilson's, it's a white cinder block garage with 2 service bays, 2 overhanging doors, big garage doors, and a detached office next door. So not connected. Normally it's the garage and you walk through that little office that they make you sit in watching Maury while the fucking...
This is even worse because they're like, you stay here, I'll be back. Then they close the door.
And it's a pillbox and you just go, uh-oh.
They walk out.
And you just sit there. Hope they come back soon. So... that's what this is like. So that night, they're all doing it. Now, Charles Sherman, who had his knife taken, he's flipping through a magazine. He's seated in Clausen here, Michael Clausen, the 21-year-old cousin. Michael Clausen's 1984 Mustang is there. So one of the little Fox bodies, that is. Yeah, one of those little boys. Those were, the 5.0s were nice, but the other ones were not. The regular ones were shit boxes.
You can make the hatchback. You can make them a fucking sleeper. Though. They were so
you
light.
Can,
you can make them fast as shit.
They didn't come that way though.
No.
They were shit boxes.
It's a garbage car.
They were kind of an economy car at that point. Otherwise, they were garbage. So it's jacked up on blocks in a service bay there, and Charles is sitting there flipping through a magazine, sitting in the car. Yeah, in one of the seats. Now, Michael Clausen said that he'd removed the engine and transmission from the Mustang, and Clausen was under the car taking measurements so he could put the transmission back in.
Okay.
So that's what he was doing.
New transmission in. He's not putting the factory one. He's going to make this thing a fucking rocket ship.
That's what they do, these guys. And they like building fast ones and take them to the tracks. And they also help build cars for racers and stuff. Right. I mean, this is what they're into. Their dad was into it. So that's what they're doing. Michael Clausen under the car. He could see, he said, Charles reading the magazine through a hole in the floor where the gear shift lever went. Yeah. So, the shifter, it's a 5-speed, and you can see, look right up through it there. So I guess Darryl Drake had been trying to fix the stereo in his Chevy Camaro and was standing behind his car in a different part of the bay. And Frank Sherman was at work on a stock car for somebody else's stock car. Yeah, he's working on a stock car on the other side of the bay. Yeah. So we got 3 different cars being worked on. One dude's reading a mag. They're living, this is the life they want. They're
so awesome.
Couldn't be more fucking thrilled. There are definitely calendars of big-breasted women on this wall. Right next to that big thing where you... No.
Very not HR friendly.
No.
The place.
The office is detached, babe. This is... Hang them up. Hang them up. This is like my cousins in Pennsylvania when I went in their basement when I was like 7. I was like, whoa, that's what a vagina looks like. Wow.
That was the real risque calendars that were dual calendars that had like actual pussy on them.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
They just put up like Hustler centerfolds on the wall. That's what they'd put up. No, in their basement downstairs where they had the pool table and shit. So they would be up all over the place. And fucking, they were crazy people. And then I would go down there to 7-year-old, and I was like, wow.
Play some 9-ball? Well, not really. I just want to look at this wall now.
Yeah. Like, well, he figured out I'm straight. That's cool. Anyway, at least I know what I am, I don't care either way. Could have gone whatever, but that's getting me happy. So, yeah.
You just tested it.
Like to see more of that. So, that's the scene that's going on here. Anyway, 3 different cars, a Mustang, a Camaro,
Tits
and a stock car.
Yeah.
Tits everywhere.
Hey, racing mag. It's great.
Yeah, come look at this. Check this out. What this dude did to a 47 Ford, and they're all going back and forth and everything.
Yeah.
And then Clausen says around midnight, the Shermans, the Sherman boys, bring their black lab dog to the garage too. Got to have a dog running around.
Yeah.
God damn it, this place
Shop
sounds
dog.
fun. Oh, man, beers in the fridge? What do you think?
Yeah.
Mini fridge beers?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, absolutely. And there's is it a black dog? Is it a black lab?
It's a black lab.
Yeah, because that little guy, that grease doesn't show up on him.
You could pet him.
Lay
You're
on
not
the
going
floor.
to get a yellow lab. He'd be covered in shit all the time.
Just pet him.
You pet him there. His name's Chocolate also.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird because he's a black lab, not a chocolate lab. There are chocolate labs.
You should have got one of those.
Yeah. So this And I name him Black Licorice. I named... Never mind. So
I got a yellow lab, named him Licorice.
That's the one. So Chocolate starts to bark continuously outside the garage. Yeah. Anybody with dogs knows that could be something to worry about, or it could be shut the fuck up and stop barking at nothing. I spend half of my day yelling at the dog for barking at the UPS guy, the fucking Amazon person, and every time a truck with squeaky brakes goes by because they think that's the Amazon truck pulling in, and rop, 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 shut the fuck up, and I'm running around the house. You do that. So we all do that shit. So that's how it goes, and he says, quote, the dog started barking. This is Michael Clausen. Chuck said to Frank, go see what the dog's barking at. I was beneath my car, and I heard a sound. It was like firecrackers. I didn't know what it was. Then I heard feet scuffling in the dirt outside.
Huh.
So he's under a car. So he's in a weird position here. So then he heard, he heard what he thinks is firecrackers. And then Sherman, that Frank had gone out there. And Michael Clausen said, though, quote, at first I didn't pay much attention. Then I heard a gunshot inside the garage, and it was very loud.
Oh, boy.
So gunshot outside the garage, firecrackers, gunshot in the garage. Holy shit, that's loud. And it's there's a lot of metal to bounce off of in there. So
yeah, but if you drop a fucking loud screwdriver in there, it's loud.
It's loud. Yeah, echoey as shit. So Clausen said he heard Jeremy Bullock, the big guy, 6'4", 350 there, grunting, quote, like he was in pain, like something was hitting him. From beneath the car, he's under the fucking car.
Right.
He can see Bullock, he can see his friend Jeremy Bullock, his feet pointed upward as if he had fallen backwards. Oh, he looked out, he looked over at him, and he just see his bottom of his feet sticking up. He's like, oh shit, that's not good, obviously. He said that Jeremy Bullock was trying to get under his car, apparently.
Yeah.
And he said Clausen said he watched as Jeremy Bullock tried to get under his car. He heard someone say, quote, you're going to die. And then he heard another gunshot.
Oh, God.
Which is not what you want to hear. From underneath his car, all he can see is ankles. So you don't want to come out from under the car. This is terrifying. You want to run away because if he sees you under the car, it's an easy way to shoot you.
Right.
But if if he doesn't see you, don't move.
You're safe. Yeah.
You're safe, but at the same time, you're just seeing shit go on with feet, so that's got to be terrifying. You don't know. At any point, this person could bend down, look at you, and stick the gun under there and shoot. Like, that's terrifying.
It's like, you may feel safe, but you're also fucking trapped because you can't get out of there.
No, this is how many countless horror movies have you seen where someone's hiding under the bed, watching the feet, and then somebody grabs the back of their feet from the other side and pulls them up. It's a fucking horror movie, terrifying scenario that we're all would be scared of. So from underneath his car, he can see a person wearing a dark blue pair of pants that had a light blue stripe down the side.
Okay.
And he recognized the colors as those pants as like the Foster Police Department's uniforms. Right. Okay. The person was also wearing a pair of black, like army boots, basically, combat boots, which all the cops wear. He said he couldn't see the assailant's face, though, because he's under the car. He watched the person walk around to the passenger side of his car, which he's underneath, Clausen did, and where Charles had been sitting originally before he went out to check on the dog. Then he heard 2 shots and a gasp from Charles as well.
Oh, boy.
So the next thing he saw were shell casings falling to the floor near the shooter's boots.
Oh, boy.
He just saw the whole fucking gun's worth of shell casings go to the ground.
Yeah.
And that's when he heard. And then he waited a short while, he said, Clausen, under his car.
Yeah.
And then he crawled out to see what was going on. When he does, this was after the person he thought walked away, looks up and he sees that Charles Sherman has been shot in the face multiple times.
Oh, man.
And when we tell you with what, that's something at close range, especially. Clausen, at this point, runs out of the garage, and as soon as he gets out of the garage, he runs into Jeremy Bullock lying on his back, also shot up.
Oh, God.
So he's like, holy fuck. He runs out. He's able to get into his car, and drive home, where he told his parents, who immediately called the police.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, at the time, the way this went down, at the time that Frank went to investigate the dog's barking, because Charles was the one who told Frank, because he's the younger brother, go fucking see what the dog wants. Darryl Drake had been sitting in the front seat of his own car working on his radio. Okay. There was loud bangs that were shaking the garage. Darryl Drake will later say he saw a dark-complected man, but a white guy with a darker complexion, not a black guy, with short hair and glasses, pointing a gun at him from a distance of about 6 or 7 feet. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Drake said he jumped out of the way and then heard another shot and then jumped across the console of the car and onto the floor. He fell out the passenger side door where he saw the body of Jeremy Bullock lying on the ground. Drake then saw a person who was wearing black boots headed toward the back of the garage. So Drake got up and ran out of the garage. He just takes off. I mean, this is, run for your life, fight or flight. This is
Good
literal. This is flight is what this is. So as he's running, though, he hears more shots being fired in the garage.
Yeah.
He then realizes he's shot.
Really?
He's been shot. He's been shot through his left side. It's a through and through, went in his left by his ribs and has come out.
On the right side?
On his left side.
Yeah, but came out the right
Came
side?
out his right side.
Oh, my, all the way through the body.
All the way through, and he realizes that he's having difficulty breathing.
Uh-huh.
Which would make sense if you probably have a collapsed lung from being shot in the fucking chest or in the rib cage. He said at that point he heard squealing tires. Yeah. So it was like, okay. And he saw a light-colored Grand Marquis or Crown Victoria drive quickly past him with its headlights off. Doesn't seem suspicious or anything.
Feels like the guy that probably did this.
I would say. Darryl Drake then runs to the first house he sees, which is smart, and just bangs on the door. He's full of fucking blood. Please help. They've heard gunshots. I mean, Jesus Christ. You hear that? This is help me. So the police are called. They come to the location. Drake is taken by ambulance to the hospital, obviously, and he is hospitalized and everything like that. So there's, he's in there. He's in critical condition. They don't know if he's going to make it and all that kind of shit. So the Sergeant Samuel Mooney, who is a member of the Foster Police Department, he's on duty that night. He responded to the call and said that another sergeant had already arrived there, William Chapman, and was waiting for additional police units to respond before searching the garage. They don't know if there's still an assailant there. They have no idea. So a number of state police units also respond to the call. This isn't normal around here. So it gets kind of, oh, shit, let's go check that out. So immediately they became suspicious of Robert Sabetta. Because they're like, these kids had beef with them, and everybody's saying they saw a police car with a police pants and all that kind of shit. Right. All the other cops had no beef with these kids, so they didn't know what was going on. So several municipal units come, including a bunch of surrounding towns and shit like that. They're told to be notified, be on the lookout for a car, a gray-colored 90 or 91 Ford LTD Crown Victoria, bearing Rhode Island vehicle registration number, license plate number 77712. That's what they have. This is fucking crazy. So Darryl Drake ends up surviving his wounds.
Is that right?
He survives it through and through to the chest. By the way, this is with a .357.
Holy shit!
Shot the one guy twice in the face with a .357, Jimmy.
He took a .357 through the fucking lung and survived.
Through the lung and survived. Ran away. As a matter, that's how powerful is adrenaline.
Yeah.
That you can run with that, even though your lung is collapsed and everything else. That's all adrenaline, all fight or flight. This is I'm dying or I'm running. That's all this is. You might as well have a lion chasing you. That's like the most human thing ever.
If you're shot with a .357, you're going to feel... I can't believe he didn't feel it. He didn't know until he got out of there.
It's fucking insane. Jeremy Bullock is dead. He's been killed, shot multiple times with a .357. And both the Sherman boys are dead. Frank and Charles have been killed. So Michael Clausen gets away unscathed because he was under the car, and the assailant never saw him, never knew he was even fucking there. So he's the only one who gets away unscathed. And 3 dead, 1 injured, 1 witness. witness to feet, though. That's the problem.
Right.
And they're
a
saying
357 only holds, you can get one that holds 8, but
this has got a 6 in this
6.
one. This is a 6.
Wow.
We'll find out. Yeah. So 6, and he emptied the shells and then was fucking reloading and shooting more. Think about
Hit
that.
people with all of them. My
12.
God.
Yeah, 12 times they were shot. So he had to unload and reload with this shit.
Yep.
That's wow. That's some calculated
It's a lot
shit.
of rounds, yeah.
So Clausen said that because they asked Clausen, do you know? Oh, by the way, Drake ends up picking out Sabetta out of a lineup when they show him a 6-pack of shots. So that's not good. Then they asked Clausen, do you know Robert Sabetta? And he said, yes, actually, I know the guy.
Yeah.
I've seen him at my stepfather's car auction. And he said that, yeah, I've seen him there. And they said, will you tell us a little bit about it? And he kind of goes through his story again. Like I said, he said, I recognized the Foster policeman's colors. Yeah. He said, I never saw his face, but I heard his voice as he approached the Mustang and opened fire on Chucky. That's what they call Charles, Chucky. So he said, I heard someone say, you're going to die. Then I heard another shot. I slid further under the car. I heard one shot, and then 2 seconds later, another shot. Chucky tried to move. I could feel the car shaking. Then I heard Chucky's last breath.
Oh, God.
That is fucking horrifying. He said he watched the gunman's feet as he approached the passenger door and then heard a shot again. He said, I was terrified. I didn't want to look up. No shit. I wouldn't want to either. He said that he heard footsteps as the gunman left the garage. He said that Clausen said the dog came back in, running back and forth, looking for somebody, anybody, because nobody's alive except for Clausen. And Drake has run away. So Clausen said he waited about a minute and a half after he heard the assailant walk away. Then he crawled out and saw everybody. Saw 2 people on the ground. Yeah, it's 2 on the ground outside. Bullock and his brother, or Bullock and Frank, and then Charles was dead in the driver's seat of his car, of Michael Clausen's car. And he didn't know where Drake was at that point. He was just gone. So he drove to his stepfather's house a mile up the road. And he, like I said, he never knew anything about Drake at all. He said that they asked him, have you ever heard his voice, Sabetta's voice, before? Have you talked to him? He said, yeah, he's talked to him. He's spoken to him on several occasions, but he doesn't know if the "you're going to die" was from him because he said he's never heard him raise his voice. He's never heard him yell in anger. He's just heard him casually talk about a car. So
I've also never heard the man say, you're going to die.
You're going to die. Yeah. And if someone says you're going to die angrily, it's way different than, what do you got in there? You know, what's under that hood? It's a little bit of a different deal. So he said he could not say that it was definitely that. So they also, when they questioned Daryl Drake about the whole thing when he's in the hospital, he gave the description of the car. He said it was the license plate 77712. And the police sergeant said that officers in Foster have a tradition of including their badge numbers on their license plates. They get personalized plates with their badge numbers.
Idiot.
And his badge number was 712.
Dum-dum.
It's him. I mean, it's
for sure.
It's his fucking personalized plate that goes to his car, to his badge even. I mean, it's...
Holy.
It's not good. So the cops at the scene said there was 2 huge pools of blood by the garage's open front doors. They said where Frank and Bullock died. They said that a dozen and more than a dozen state and Foster police officers were in the garage. They were wanting to make molds of footprints on the ground and shit like that. The one this is actually the owner, Wilson, said there's blood all over the place. It's a disaster. It all makes me sick. This poor bastard, Jesus Christ. He's just renting his garage out. Now it's a murder scene. So they're looking for the car anyway. I mean, who knows? Maybe someone stole Robert's car and came and did this. We don't know.
And then killed some people that he could probably want dead.
That he had beef with. Yeah, remember, this is a big deal because there's a felony case against him that these kids are the witnesses for. So
absolutely, yeah.
This is a huge deal. This isn't just like, oh, I'm kind of mad at them because they got me in trouble. This is, I can go to prison and lose my job. So they're looking for him. 3:30 a.m. Here. This is Detective Sergeant Gerald A. Prendergast. He said that an officer observed him, Sabetta, in his car driving in Cranston where he lived. And the Cranston police sergeant said that officers were told to be on the lookout for him, obviously. And they said they thought they sat in areas they thought he might drive by.
Sure.
And they followed him. They saw him, followed him on a street for a little more than a mile. And then once he turned off the street, they stopped him. It was right by his house. They stopped him. They said he was taken into custody without incident. They knew the fucking guy. I mean, he's arrested and arraigned for the murders and charged with assault with intent to commit murder on Drake, obviously. And so he's arrested here, advised of his rights, and told he's suspected of murder. And they try to get a statement from him, obviously.
Sure.
He refused to give them specific answers, though. All he would say is, quote, this is Sabetta's quote, "I'm in a lot of trouble. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. I just don't want to talk about it right now." We know all of this. Yes, we know you're in trouble because we all looked for you.
Yeah.
We're pretty, we get the pressure you're under. Yeah, it's
want to
pretty
talk
big.
about
It's pretty big. Don't want to talk about it right now. So finally, Sabetta asked to be allowed to speak to the police chief, Cattell. Let me speak to the chief. Put the chief in here and I'll talk to him. So the Prendergast said he saw Sabetta again after Sabetta talked to Cattell. So they said, what did he say to you? And all Sabetta would say, he was shaking his head, and he said, "I really messed up, didn't I?" And at that point, a judge came to police headquarters to arraign him, which I've never heard of before. I've never heard of a judge. It's usually not mobile arraignments. They don't come to you. Usually you go to them. The judge,
fast
for Christ's sake.
tracking it. This is some McDonald's justice.
Yeah, they're like, "Get in the car. Listen, Your Honor,
Over $3 billion served.
put your robe on.
Yeah. Over
Have your
$3
wife
billion
put on a pot of
justice
coffee
served.
and get down here." Yeah. Jesus Christ. So they did that. They sometime after 5 a.m. So this is between 3:30 and 5. They had him arraigned with a judge already there and everything. Holy shit. They said him and two other, Pendergrast and two other police detectives visited Sabetta in the cell block, but they couldn't get a statement from him. They said all he would say is that he was in big trouble and it was unlikely that he would get to be a cop anymore. That's what he was upset about. Prendergast described him as, quote, sullen and weepy. Sullen and weepy. So under questioning later on, Prendergast said that he had not tried to find out if someone other than Sabetta had motive to kill the teenagers, because they asked him, in this investigation, did you look at anybody else? And he said, no, we looked at him.
Yeah.
We had a suspect and we followed it, and it turns out that was a pretty good suspect. That's all.
We got a license plate number. Happens to be his.
Yeah. In a murder investigation, the thing that I think it's a tough one that people don't get a lot of times is you think of a murder investigation, you think, okay, here's what they must do. They must gather every fact they have and then look through it and go, well, look at like the piles in in front of each person's name. And they go, oh, there's way more of a pile of evidence in front of them. That's who we're going to go after. That's not what they do. They look for whatever thread, because you couldn't do it like that. It'd be impossible to do it like that. Investigations would take forever. They look for whatever thread is loose and pull on it. And if that's the wrong thread, if it just pops out, then they throw that thread aside and they look at the next thread.
And sometimes the first thread, that's your thread.
That's your thread. Yeah, you go with the most obvious thread, you pull on it, and sometimes, the whole pillow comes apart. You know what I mean? You never know. So the state trooper, John Layden, had a conversation with Sabetta in the rear seat of the police cruiser where he was being held after his arrest. This is the guy who advised him of his Miranda rights from his Miranda warning card. After Layton advised him of his rights, he asked him, Sabetta, if he understood them, and Sabetta said, yeah, I'm a cop. Yeah, I fucking know them.
Are.
Yeah, I've read that. By the way, this is a rule I'd like to see. If you are a police officer and you're arrested for something, no matter whether they read you your rights or not, you're not allowed to say later that they didn't read you your rights. As a police officer, when you leave your house in the morning, it's under the assumption that you know what your rights are, since you have a fucking card in your pocket that you, by law, have to read to someone every time you put handcuffs on them.
Verbatim.
We feel like you know it by now.
Yeah.
So you're the only cops. That's it. You don't have to read them the rights. You have to go, you know your rights, right? If they go, no, I don't actually, remind me, then you have to read them.
You know, I never got those down. Could you read those to me?
Fuck, yeah, I lost that card on my first day, and I was too embarrassed to ask for another one, so I haven't been doing it. I've just been going, come on, we're going to jail now. Off to jail we go. Hoping no one noticed, but shit.
I haven't been doing it.
Jesus Christ. So he made several statements then to Layden. At one point he said, wow, this is big. I must be in some trouble. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Just shot 4 teenagers. What do you think? Think that's just going to go under the fucking rug or what? Then he nodded, Sabetta did, toward the northern part of the state, like that way, and said, what, another one up there? And the guy said, Layden said, where were you coming from? And Sabetta said that he was coming from Mr. Donuts. Of course.
Yeah,
God, he's a whole stereotype.
Had to get some coffee creamer.
Had to get some creamer. He then said that he had his off-duty gun on the floor of the rear seat of his car. So Layden asked Sabetta if he had any police uniforms in his car, and he said no, and said he's on suspension for another thing in Foster, is what he told the guy, so he didn't have any uniforms. Then Sabetta told Layden that he didn't want to talk any further because there were too many television cameras around. Because by this point, local news is tipped off to this. The chief likes to talk in front of the camera, as we'll find out. The chief he's on a current affair by the weekend. What? Oh, yeah. He's got a current affair by the weekend. He's sitting there going, well, I mean, he must have just snapped, I guess. It's... So those were in the 90s. That and the Law and Order, those were the two most famous and well-known noises of the 90s there. So
and the ticks from 60 Minutes.
Oh, and the ticks. Yeah, that was for 40 years before that, though, too. So they are 30. So they told him all of that, and he said he would speak at the police barracks, but didn't want to talk with all the cameras around. Okay. So when they get there, Pendergrast, who's the sergeant, he speaks with him in a conference room, along with Pendergrast's partner, Detective James Demers. Pendergrast reads him his warnings. He signs it, all that kind of shit. And then he said again, wow, this is big, ain't it? I'm in a lot of trouble. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. He said this, quote, you don't understand the pressure I'm under. The war is over. I don't really want to waste your time, but I don't want to talk about it right now. I understand you're doing your job. I don't want to talk about it right now. You can understand that, can't you? The war is over is a weird one. I don't get that. You can understand. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. The war is over. I don't really want to waste your time.
Desert Storm just ended.
Does that mean like the cows out of the barn or horses out of the barn or whatever it is? Like
the clutch.
It's already gone. Yeah. Water's under the bridge. Like it's over with. Fuck it, I guess. I don't know. So he asked if he could speak with the chief of police, and they do. He does not make any admission of guilt. However, he does say to the chief, quote, I really fucked up, didn't I?
Yeah, dog. I mean, you're in trouble and you fucked up. Why do you need confirmation of it?
As soon as we read you those rights, you should have realized this is a problem. He spoke to his father then, Sabetta does, in the presence of Prendergast and Demers. During their conversation, the father asked him whether he wanted an attorney, and he said he doesn't want an attorney right this minute, Sabetta said. So after the father left, Prendergast and Demers again asked him if he wanted to speak with, you want to speak with us now? And he responded, I need help, which I don't know what that means. Is that a yes? Yeah. Is that a no? When they asked him if he wanted to tell them what happened, he said, I do, but I want to talk to my attorney first. Okay. Like, well, we just asked you if you wanted an attorney, and you said you don't. You're a confusing son of a bitch, aren't you, Sabetta?
You're a fucking enigma. You know that?
You're a little annoying, I got to be honest. I'm really glad that we never got, partnered up in a patrol car, because I think you would have annoyed the fuck out of me. So
I'm glad you do the murdering rather than investigating them.
Yeah, just it's a weird twist here. So the cops leave him alone at that point. They say he asked for a lawyer. Fuck it. They then let him make a phone call and was taken to his cell block. He consults with his attorney the next morning and is arraigned. Sometime after his arraignment, they go to his cell block again. This is Prendergast, Demers, and Layden. All go to his cell block to advise him that he's going to be transported to the adult correctional institution. And he said, at that point, what's going to happen? What's the procedure? Because he doesn't know.
I don't know.
I usually just drop him off with you guys. And so they told him he's going to be transported by a member of the state police and that he'll be treated as any other prisoner. I think he was wondering, how does this work since I'm a cop? Then he said additional statements. He said that he was in big trouble again. And then he says, well, it doesn't look like I'll be a cop any longer as well.
Yeah.
That's wow. He also said, quote, there was always going to be someone out there just like him, just like the guy in Massachusetts a month or so ago. And so they interpreted that statement as referring to a man who was in the news as having shot and killed his girlfriend and estranged wife, because they had talked about that apparently. Okay. They said he appeared emotionally upset at the time and asked for a few minutes to be alone before being taken to the institution there, and they granted him that. Now, guns, okay? Detective Leroy Rose, he had a Glock in his car, did Sabetta, and another gun in his car as well. So the Glock here, among the items seized on the floor, were a loaded 40 cal Glock with a laser sight as well on there, a magazine clip containing 12 rounds in an Uncle Mike's holster, and from the inside, a brand, I assume.
Yeah, it's the cheapest, shittiest ones, but yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a rookie. He's got to build up his... From inside the glove compartment, they seized a Glock 40 caliber loaded magazine with 12 rounds of ammo as well. Okay. And from the ashtray, they seized 1 round of 40 caliber ammunition. They neither a 357 nor combat boots were found in his car, though. So everyone was shot with a 357. So the town is fucking like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This does not happen here, A. Right. And they all liked the kids. Everyone said, oh, those are the nice kids that you can trust to fix your car and they won't gouge you. And then this guy's a cop. So this is like in a town of 4,000, people's heads are exploding. Here's some reactions. Here's the Wilson car shop owner guy. He said about the kids, I loved them. They helped me around the place for the last 2 years. I'm really sick over this. Yeah. Their former principal, this is Sabetta's former principal, said, I'm having a really hard time visualizing this. Well, you can visualize it. Check out the pools of blood.
I'm not having a hard time at all, to be honest with you.
Jesus Christ. Gloria Drake, who is Daryl Drake's grandmother, said they were a lot of fun. They put sports cars together. They're just young kids. So, yeah. And she also said that Drake's father had died recently, too. So the mother lost her husband. Yeah, town gossip is in here. Beatrice Law, this is funny. She's at Kenny's Kitchen on Route 6, which is down the street. She's waiting for her order of eggs and potatoes, and they're just asking people in the diner, what do you think? And she said, this is the Providence Journal there. That's that newspaper. You get a lot of shit out of there. We got a lot for this show. She says it just hits you when it's people you know. You figure these things happen in the city.
Yeah. Over medium would be that would be fun.
Oh, there we go. Nice and crispy. Yeah, crispy on those eggs, on those potatoes. Rob Edson, he finished his lunch at the Countryside Pizza. Oh, sure, that's excellent pizza. He said, everybody knows everybody. Stuff like this doesn't happen. Can't say that anymore. It did happen. That's what he said. So he filled in what we would have said. Thanks. He said that he predicts that these killings will change people in Foster. He said, quote, everybody's going to be more closed. They're not going to open up. The less you get involved, the less trouble you get in. Well, that can be translated to what now? Mind your fucking business. That's what he just said. I think people are going to start minding their business a little more now. Beatrice Law, another woman here, she says, I have grandchildren growing up. I hate to think what it's going to be like in 10 years if it's that bad now. The whole town isn't falling apart. This aren't a series of drug murders where cartels have moved in. This is a very, very specific. Yeah. Wow. That Beatrice, Jesus Christ, some context and perspective, please. This is why panic happens and crazy shit happens. I can't imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years. Oh, yeah, this should happen every weekend now.
Beatrice, take your fucking meds and sit down.
Holy shit. Wait for your fucking eggs and relax, Beatrice. Holy shit.
Stop drinking. Switch to decaf. Love. You can't have...
Decaf,
sweetheart.
Have
high octane this early in the morning.
Jesus Christ. You don't vote, do you? Is what I would say.
Maybe just the creamer for you, Beatrice.
Yeah. You want some creamer milk is very good from what I hear. So now the police chief, Cattell, he decides to go right to the press with all this, immediately. Sure. So it's fucking hilarious. He talked about the internal investigation. He talks about that to the newspaper. The article reported the specific details of the assault on Frank Sherman that we told you about, Charles Sherman, or Frank is the one he hit, and stated that an internal investigation by the Foster Police Department had led to Sabetta's suspension with pay. In addition, he said, quote, that that Sabetta, quote, knew he was in trouble and that his job was on the line. He also gave an interview to A Current Affair.
Yeah.
This is during the month of April. This is like 2 weeks, within 2 weeks of the crime. The interview aired, though, May 28th, but he gave the interview like a week after the crime. He says that, quote, there was a complaint that one of the officers had assaulted a youth with a flashlight, and the youth had lost a couple of teeth. Sabetta asked me, is this a felony? And I says, yes, a flashlight it's a deadly weapon. It's assault with a deadly weapon. If you're convicted of a felony, you could never be a police officer again. He needed to be a police officer. It was his whole life. And when he saw it was going away, he evidently cracked.
Evidently.
That's what he evidently. Now, this is before any trial. Yeah. This is not only a coworker, but the fucking chief of police of the investigating department.
Just giving their whole their game plan right there in the press.
Not good. Yeah, he said it just bothered him because he couldn't have been a police officer. I think he always wanted to be a police officer, and it meant everything to him. When he was indicted for the alleged assault, I think it affected him greatly. He said that Sabetta's gun was confiscated when he was suspended, and the chief said, because they're like, did you take his gun? Did he kill the kids with a service revolver?
Right.
He says that I took the guy's gun, then said, quote, what can you do? I took away his service revolver. That should be everything. He said the judge issued a no-contact order, but you can't control an individual. That's what he said. Shit happens, is what he said.
I mean, there's thousands of individuals you're controlling right now behind bars.
Yep,
you could have done that.
Can't control him. Nope. I took his gun away. What else you want from me?
Pending an investigation.
And I said, don't you go there no more. Now, Cattell also said he believed the shooting deaths were the first homicides in Foster since 1973.
20 years.
Beatrice is ready to pack her grandkids up in the station wagon and run with her hair on fire because what's it going to be like in 10 years? My God, Jesus Christ, 10 years from now. Holy shit, what's going to happen? Running.
Right after this plate of potatoes and eggs, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you heard 10 years as she fucking ran away. But Cattell said, quote, it's like the last frontier in Rhode Island. We still have some dirt roads and horses and farming. I never had any idea this was going to happen.
That's the last frontier?
You've just described small-town murder, my friend. Yeah. That's why do you do the show? Well, because it's like the last frontier. We have some dirt roads and horses. Never had any idea this was going to happen. I find that interesting when people are safe and they're not. So Sabetta Sr. or Sabetta Jr. No, he's senior because Sabetta is a junior. Right. Robert Sabetta Sr., Robert's father, told reporters that his son, quote, was an excellent police officer, and the police can back that statement.
Sir.
He's he's on the job for less than 2 years before he took out a teenager's front teeth with his flashlight. That's not a good officer, number one. And then killed them.
And then possibly murdered 3.
Holy fucking shit. He said that, quote, for my son's sake, I hope he's innocent. I hope to God he didn't do it. Uh-huh. No shit. So then they talk about his night. Well, where was he? What did he do?
What'd you do?
Well, apparently he was in algebra class that night, Robert Sabetta. That's where he was. Yeah, he's at the community college.
Some math.
Doing some shit. People said one witness, Gene Kulasowski, I don't know how the fuck you say that. Something Polish.
Yeah.
Said that Sabetta attended class from 6:30 to 9:30 on April 13th. A 3-hour class? That sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Jesus.
Dude, I could never do that. I don't have I'd need to be like, can I get up and run around for like 20 minutes?
Attention span post-dinner?
Nope.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
No.
Don't even talk to me about your day.
I would have, my mind can drift for like an hour and a half. I'd be like, I have no idea what that person just said for an hour and a half. That can happen. Yeah. I've watched whole movies where I don't know anything that happened because I started thinking about something else in the beginning and completely drifted away. You could be yelling in my face and I'm like, I can block it all out. So,
and after dinner, as each morsel is digested, my attention span is less and less. I'm dozing by now.
Plus, I'd be very stoned when I showed up. So by 8:30, I'd start to be like, all right, well, if I'm not going to eat anything or anything, I'm going to take a nap here. So that's what he was doing. This woman testified she saw him around 9:40 for the last time. She said he had been wearing jeans, sneakers, and a sweatshirt. This was right before he drove over to there, and was in his police uniform. She previously told the state that he was wearing a navy blue crew neck shirt, but then she changed it to sweatshirt. But she said it was definitely jeans and sneakers. Okay. So another woman here, Maria Vitti, she also said that she saw him in algebra class. That's what she saw him wearing too, jeans and sneakers. Now, they need the gun. They don't know where the fucking gun is. They need this murder weapon. They find other guns in his house, guns in his car, but not the gun they're looking for here. So finally, Groton, Connecticut, there's a river there, and there's a fisherman just fishing, doing his thing. And while he does, he hooks a gun.
He caught himself a Smith & Wesson.
Caught himself a .357 Magnum revolver is what he caught himself right by the shore there. I don't know if he was fishing for
those.
Yeah, I don't know if he was fishing for like sunnies or what right by the shore, but
those grill up real tough. You gotta flash fry.
Oh, he's a big one there. That's a long barrel now. I'm gonna take him to the taxidermist, get him mounted. If it's a short barrel, I throw him back, but I ain't throwing back no long barrel.
He caught a gun.
That's a 6-inch barrel on there, boy. That's gonna be good. So,
what are the fucking chances? What are the goddamn chances
that you pull up a murder weapon when you're going for a smallmouth bass? Probably not very good, I would say. But
he's dragging the bottom trying to catch those shit-eating fish.
Yeah, he's catfish and shit. This is like right by the shore too. It was on the banks, so he was on the banks.
What? He just dropped it or did he throw it from the other side of the fucking river?
I don't know. Well, from the middle, if you're going toward the bank, if it's a sharp drop off, you get some bass that might congregate at the bottom of that.
I'm
if there's
thinking
a log over there or something.
I'm thinking more of when he threw the gun in the water. Shibetta.
He just tossed it lightly. He didn't care. He's like,
he
well,
just walked to the edge and flopped it in.
As long as it went in water, he was good. He didn't do like
that'll do it.
He didn't do like a what are those called, discus, where he like went around 3 times and fucking threw it out in the middle. He didn't do one of those. He was just like, nah, gross, and threw it away and then go back to my car now.
His thumb and his forefinger and just opened it up.
Ew.
Yucky
Paplunk, and he was like, perfect. Out of here, man. Takes off. So this person pulls up a .357 and he called the cops because he's like, I don't know who the fuck would leave. Why would you leave a gun in the lake or in a river for no reason?
He had to have caught the trigger guard. You know, the ring around the trigger.
That's what he caught.
What
are the odds?
The right way.
What are the odds of that? That's a great fisherman. You know what? That takes way more talent than catching fish. Yeah. I've gone out fishing for an afternoon and caught 5-6 fish. I've never caught a gun. So that's impressive. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'd almost be happier. Did you catch anything? Holy shit, did I?
Wait till you hear this. That's just a big fish story. I don't believe you.
Yeah, well, guess what? Look at the
you
paper
have to turn
then.
it into the cops, too, so you can't prove it?
What, was it used in a triple homicide or something? So, by the way, when it's recovered, not only is it recovered, it also has 6 spent shells in the chamber.
Oh, my God.
Yep, they're still in there, bud. This is...
Wow.
Yeah, very easy to match up if you have the shells, the gun, and the fucking bullets.
Didn't even pull the shells.
Nope, the first one he did, they all hit the floor. He left those behind.
Left them at the scene.
But then this, he just threw it in there.
So now he takes these with him so that they match perfect.
Yep. So they're like, how can we put this, how can we say this is his gun, though? How can we put it in his hands that day? How can we do this? Well, a friend of his said that they used that very same gun to shoot target practice in Sabetta's backyard in Cranston. Oh, so the state police cut down a tree from his yard and got more than 130 bullets out of it.
Wow.
130, because he's been using the thing as a fucking target. So they compared the bullets from the crime scene to the ones from the tree, and they're identical.
Yeah,
and then they all
weapon and bingo bango.
They all matched that gun, and boom, there we go. So, by the way, the one cop said, quote, "We say the tree died of lead poisoning." That's what he said. Okay. That's his humor. Oh, boy. So, Robert Hathaway, who's a science guy here, that's his official title, science guy. Yeah. There's only 2, Bill Nye and him, the only ones that just go by science guy.
2 graduates of the one school.
Of science shit, I believe, is the, right? It's a prestigious school of science shit. Come on, sign up. So this guy, I don't know what his official title is. I know he does science shit, so that's what I'm saying. He said 6 bullets from the crime scene and the medical examiner's office were fired from the alleged murder weapon, a Ruger 357 Magnum. Tested the bullets from the shooting scene, the bodies, and the victims, and they're all the same. Metal filings, though, let's really make sure, because the gun had its serial number filed off, by the way. Of
course it did, yeah.
So they were like, well, we can't say it's his gun registered to him. So they get an FBI metallurgist named William A. Tobin that compares the filings from the basement of Sabetta's home.
Oh, God. He left.
To the metal of the 3. Yes, of course he left. Of course he couldn't even sweep, this fucking idiot. He left the filings there.
God doesn't even have a dustpan, this idiot.
Unfucking believable, where he had removed the serial number with a grinder or file, took a sample from the barrel of the revolver and determined that they are similar deals there, and acknowledged that he couldn't say for certain that the filings were from the murder weapon. But when you put the bullets in the tree and the bullets in the guys and his gun and the filings and all that, mix it all together in one big fucking cocktail, you got yourself a hell of a dirty martini, my friend.
That's the
filthy.
Rattling Bog, yeah.
That's filthy. That's a Grey Goose, too. Top shelf. So,
creating really great retail experiences is tough, especially with multiple stores, teams of staff, fulfillment centers, separate workflows. It's a lot. But with Shopify Point of Sale, you can do it all without complexity. And let's face it, acquiring new customers is expensive. With Shopify POS, you can keep shoppers coming back with personalized experiences and first-party data that give marketing teams a competitive edge. In fact, it's proven, based on a report from EY, businesses on Shopify POS see real results, like 22% better total cost of ownership and benefits, equivalent to an 8.9% uplift in sales on average relative to the markets that surveyed. Want more? Check out at shopify.com/Wondery. All lowercase, and learn how to create the best retail experiences without complexity. Shopify.com/Wondery.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
He said, he couldn't say for sure. They said, quote, they could have come from a stainless steel knife, tools, or a frying pan, couldn't they? They ask him later on, and the guy says, well, yes. So they said, so you can't tell us where they came from at all? And he said, not exactly, no. Mm-hmm. But shit, that sounds bad, doesn't it? They also talked to a gun shop owner. Let's make it a little more. Let's put another nail in the coffin here. Robert Carney, who owns a Warwick gun shop, he said that in January 1993, Robert Sabetta left a .357 Magnum with him to sell, but took the weapon back 2 days later.
I'm going to need that on second thought.
Yep, January 20th, he left it at the shop. 2 days later, Sabetta phoned and asked him if it had been bought. The guy said, I told him that it had not been sold. He came back later, picked up the firearm, and left with it. He said he couldn't tell whether the murder weapon was the same gun at all. He said, I can't tell. The fuck do I know? They all look the same to me. I don't know. So more physical evidence here they're talking about at the time, or lack of here. At the time of the shooting, obviously, Sabetta is a student at Community College of Rhode Island and is taking math courses. So he had attended the classes from 6:30 to 9:30, like we said. He was wearing jeans, sneakers, and a sweatshirt, which, by the way, was the same thing he was wearing when he was arrested.
Oh.
So he was arrested wearing the same thing he was wearing at school. Okay. So they said that police seized the clothes he was wearing and tested them for blood, and they found no blood at all. They also tested his hands they did one of those, and none was found.
Okay.
Nothing found on his hands. It doesn't mean he wasn't wearing gloves. Nobody saw his hands. That's the thing. So
he could have dipped his hands in some of that Gojo on the way out.
He
the
could
door.
have gooped it up good on the way out. You never know. I don't know if that would. I don't know what. This is the thing. I don't know how long it takes for gunshot residue to get off of your hand.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't. It takes longer than a few hours, but I don't know what kind of cleaning you could do to get rid of it, or if cleaning wouldn't get rid of it for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure of the science of that exactly. Not positive. So they said that none was found, though. So they testified later on the crime scene and the evidence taken there. They took 7 fingerprints lifted from the crime scene, but none of them were ever sent off to the FBI for identification.
What? Why not?
Because I think they think if he had no gunshot residue on his hands, he was probably wearing gloves, and none of those fingerprints are going to match him.
Right.
They're just going to match some other customer that's going to put the investigation in another path.
Great
But they
point.
don't want it to be.
Yeah.
That's just giving the defense boogeymen to bring up at that point. So they also said that the tests on the clothes he was wearing had no evidence of bloodstains or gunpowder at all. So they said no fibers on his clothing were found on the victim's clothing as well, and that tests for bloodstains or fiber samples were never performed on any of the 5 pairs of police trousers found at Sabetta's home.
Oh.
Okay. Now, so he's in jail. That was April 14th, the morning of the 14th, they take him in. April 17th, okay?
3 days later.
3 days later, they find him in his cell. He tried to kill himself by slashing his wrists and throat with a razor blade.
Why would he do that?
Because he's fucked, like you said.
But he doesn't know all this other stuff, huh?
I think he does. He knows he's fucked is what he knows. And they know he did it, and he can't be a cop now, and he's fucked. So he's taken by ambulance. He had to undergo emergency surgery. He was in critical condition. They said 2 inmates returning from breakfast found him bleeding in his cell. Mm-hmm. He had opted to stay in his cell while others were taken to eat breakfast. I guess breakfast is optional, they said, in this jail. So you can just hang in your cell, and if you want to hang back and take a shit or something, you can.
Or kill yourself.
Or kill yourself. Yeah. Shit, jerk off, kill yourself. Private things is what we're talking about. Things you want privacy from. They said at about 8:30, he had been seen at about 8:10. Everybody said he was in good condition, seemed fine. And then by 8:30, he was found bleeding in his cell. They said that he was conscious when they found him, and he actively tried to fight off prison staff members who came to his aid. He was like, let me bleed. Let me fucking die. He's literally said, leave me the fuck alone. Leave me here. So he did it with a single blade disposable razor. Yeah. The prison official said there was no question it was self-inflicted. They said the wounds were severe, even though the razor, which has a metal blade seated in a plastic casing, had not been tampered with. He somehow...
What?
He fucking... If there's a will, there's a way, man.
He did it with a Bic without opening it?
He did it with a prison issue.
Oh,
the razors
my
they give
God.
the prisoners, that are supposed to be pretty,
that is
safe.
You got to be vicious to get through that.
Yep, they said that you got to really want it. That's what I mean. You got to want it. They said that all inmates are given disposable razors when they're admitted, along with a toothbrush, toothpaste, and soap.
Yep.
He said that this is the only incident that he's ever heard of in which an inmate had attempted suicide with a prison issue razor, which I find hard to believe.
Yeah, that seems like the first thing.
The suicide rate in prison is astronomical.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. They'd be like, I have this one thing they give me that's super sharp. I won't give it a shot with this first.
The sharpest thing I have is, I don't know, a razor blade. Maybe I'll just use the bed sheets.
Yeah, fuck it. Maybe I'll hang myself with a bed sheet. So they also said that after the attempt, state police found 5 envelopes in his cell addressed to various close relations and friends of his.
Apologies
So,
and goodbye letters.
Yeah, he wrote suicide notes and tried to kill himself. Enter Lori Ann Malloy.
Let's talk about Lori.
Let's talk about her. Who's she? She's a fellow Foster police officer. Graduated from the academy with Sabetta. Okay. She learned about the murders and Sabetta's involvement during her midnight to 8 a.m. shift because they picked him up during the shift. She told her sergeant about knowing Sabetta from having attended police academy with him. Later that morning, her sergeant contacted her, worried that, because they hadn't picked Sabetta up at that point, that Sabetta might come to, they were worried that Sabetta might come to, one of their homes. So at Malloy's suggestion, this person arranged to spend the night at the house of her friend, who was also a police officer. So they were kind of going on the buddy system here. So Malloy stopped by somebody's house after her shift, And when they talked about the Sabetta matter, they said that talking about this person said talking about the shootings upset them a lot, and they didn't want to discuss them any further and all of that. So Malloy ends up being suspended in 1994, a year later, for withholding information about the killings. And she alleged that the chief of police in Warwick suspended her for not cooperating, but didn't suspend any of the male officers he had trouble with.
Okay.
So later on, she'll file a discrimination suit. But she says that the first time she said this, quote, this is about Sabetta. She was hanging out with him. She said, he made a threat against one of the boys, but I'm not sure of his exact words. I want to handle this myself. I'm not getting the support I need. Maybe I should kill him, is what Malloy said that Sabetta said.
Yeah.
I should just handle this myself. She said she didn't take the threat seriously. She just thought he was, I should kill that little shit myself. Fucking bastard. One of those. She said she didn't take it seriously. She said he seemed upset about the matter and he was just venting, just blowing off steam.
Okay.
So she said that her and Sabetta, Malloy Sabetta, and another Cranston patrolwoman, Paula Duffy, they all graduated at the police academy at the same time. They saw each other socially on 2 occasions in February 93, before the murders.
Right.
The first occasion, Malloy said that Sabetta showed her and Duffy a semi-automatic pistol with the laser sight, which is the Glock that we talked about. And so they talked about that. They also said that that Malloy said Duffy, the patrol woman here, what's her name? Paula Duffy. This is crazy. Fired a handgun from Sabetta's car.
What? That's illegal as fuck.
Yeah, you have 3 cops going out, hanging out, going, woo, shooting guns out the window of a car. What the fuck is happening?
What
the fuck are you doing?
And they're shocked that this guy may or may not have murdered somebody?
And this was the woman, Paula Duffy, fired a handgun from Sabetta's car near Cranston High School West that night.
Near the school.
Let's buck shots. I mean, I get that there's no kids in there, but still. She said, though, she couldn't really remember it that well because, quote, I had several drinks that night, and I'm not really much of a drinker. So add in shit-faced cops.
I don't drink very often. I'm going to shoot this gun out of the car.
I'm going to shoot it out of the car window because it's nicer that way. So Malloy's not the one who shot the car, shot out of the car, but it's funny that drunk cops were driving around shooting weapons out of the car. That is disturbing to me.
Floor it. I'm going to fire this and let's see if we can beat it.
Let's see. I can do it. I'm going to hit something if I could hit the moon from here. And then she's bucking shots off. So, wow. Then a week or 2 later, the trio went out for pizza. And Malloy said that Sabetta complained about having been suspended from the police department while his superiors investigated the brutality complaint. That was when he was talking about, that's when he was like, oh, I should just kill this little bastard myself. So the court orders mental evaluations for Frank for Sabetta since he killed himself here. So, or tried to kill himself. They're like, Robert Sabetta needs some little evaluation. Yeah, let's have a little talk. So they decide to await a fresh psychological evaluation, deciding before they decide where to send him, because he immediately attempted suicide. Since then, he's been held in the forensic unit of the Institute of Mental Health, and his lawyer argued that the Adult Correctional Institute could not provide adequate care for Sabetta. They said, allow a recess to provide the forensic unit at IMH to update their information so that the court can be satisfied another catastrophe doesn't happen. And the lawyers for the state said, quote, we do not believe he has a mental illness.
No?
Yeah. No, they believe he was just upset and tried to kill himself. It was more of
just a normal guy.
He's not mental institution kind of crazy. Yeah. So December 20, like lock him up and he can't go to court kind of, Right. December 20th, 1993, he gets one break. The brutality charge against him is dropped.
Well, yeah, we don't need that one anymore.
No, well, they drop it not because of that, though. They drop it because they fucked up, as we'll talk about here.
And there's also no witness.
Not anymore, but a panel of police officers dismissed the internal disciplinary charges against him here because Police Chief Donald Cattell's speculation on the case on Current Affair. That's why they did it. They said in May he was interviewed on a current affair, and they said the police chief speculated that Sabetta killed the three because Frank Sherman had filed a brutality complaint against him. And, so the police panel dismisses the disciplinary charges, saying these comments violated Sabetta's right under the law. And so, they said it rested on law enforcement officers' Bill of Rights. Under the law, public discussion of disciplinary charges brought against a law enforcement officer is prohibited before a hearing is conducted or after a hearing is concluded if the officer is found innocent. Yeah, these are very specific. Yeah. They called his comments egregious and a violation as well. They said that his lawyer as well here, Sabetta's lawyer, said that he is investigating the prospect of seeking back wages for Sabetta.
Oh.
Back wages. From when? Fucking January to May before he murdered a guy? What are we talking about?
They're going to pay him for the time he was planning a murder.
Back wages. I'd say, you know what? Since you killed a guy, let's call it a wash. What do you say?
That's just union rules there. I mean, boy, do I love a union, but that seems...
But that's a little much.
There's a victim in this case, guys.
That's three. There's three. Four. Three
five.
Dead and one almost dead. Yeah, and
I
five.
still count the dog as
his
one.
life. What about the guy under the car?
Yeah.
He's fucking scarred for life, man. That guy, he'll never go under a bed.
What about the people that got knocked on their door with a man with a lung...
An 18-year-old with a fucking 357 wound?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So they said that if Sabetta is convicted, the police department can bring additional disciplinary charges against him as well. More than murder? He's convicted of murder, I think we can call it. Let's just forget it. Let's not waste our time with the
union penalties.
with disciplinary hearings. So this law enforcement's Bill of Rights was introduced in 1976, by the way. And there we go. So June of 1994... the trial's going to happen here.
Boy.
So this is, by the way, right when OJ happened. It was June of 1994. Right? Yeah, June 12th, 1994 was OJ.
The verdict? Yeah.
No, that was OJ killing Nicole.
Oh, that was the day it happened?
Yeah, June 12th, 1994. I know because it's my birthday.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I remember. I was like, that's an interesting one.
He did that on your birthday, the night of your birthday.
He did, yeah. Look at him. Yeah. So he made it interesting anyway.
I was at Blockbuster Video. Renting a video game.
OJ's Final Run? Is that the game you rented?
On the TVs in Blockbuster, they had movies on. I don't remember the movies, but they also had a fucking police chase.
Wow, that's weird. Blockbuster doesn't switch off the new releases for shit. They don't fucking care.
It's pretty interesting.
Fuck, man. So, June of 94 trial, day before the trial opens, the lawyers take the judge and the jury to the crime scene to look at it there, to kind of get an idea of the space of the place and that sort of thing. Opening statements. Now, the prosecutor says Sabetta was a police officer whose career is in jeopardy, and he's a man who had motive for killing these young men and wounding a fourth. He said, quote, 5 young men are working on their cars around midnight, which is a dream. That sounds great for anybody. 5 minutes later, 3 of them are dead and another is wounded seriously. The evidence will prove Robert Sabetta is the man who committed this unspeakable crime. His career as a police officer was in jeopardy. He said that you're going to hear from Michael Clausen, you're going to hear from Darryl Drake. And they said, quote, he got shot under his left arm, about Darryl Drake. That bullet went right in through him and came out the other side.
Golly.
Wow. The defense here, they say prosecution's case is completely flawed. Okay? They said Sabetta here, Officer Sabetta, he's a clean living young man.
Oh.
Clean living. He's a police officer who went to a college math class the evening that the murders occurred. You can't do math and then kill directly afterwards.
I don't know. Sometimes math makes me want to.
I was going to say, it makes me want to fucking kill somebody. He said that's what happened. They said he's so good he was taking extra math classes. He's not the kind of person who could commit 3 murders. 1 maybe, but not 3.
He said math, he could get to 3.
Yeah, he said that people close to Sabetta and who know him knows that he doesn't drink excessively or take drugs. Again, not requirements for murder to drink excessively or take drugs. You can just be a murderer. That's all.
True, yeah.
So Michael Clausen testifies, Drake testifies. Everybody of relevance testifies. The FBI guys, the evidence is all presented. The bullets matching, the shit in the tree. Their only defense is, wasn't me.
Is that right?
Their defense is, wasn't me. The only reason why they're saying it's my client is because he had beef with these kids, and they're saying that's motive, and they're resting their whole case on motive. Meanwhile, the gun matches. The gun in the river shot both his tree and those kids. So
the murderer shot your tree.
Yeah. How do you who's that? Well, if it's not, who's been shooting that gun at your house then? Because that guy's a murderer, apparently.
That man fired 120 rounds into your tree.
Yeah.
You should be very well aware who did that.
No fucking shit. So in the closings, the defense attorney said that the state police had conducted a sloppy, intellectually biased investigation, just focused on my client from the beginning and nobody else. They rushed to judgment and singled out Robert Sabetta for arrest. Well, that's what happens when you get a murder suspect and you arrest him. You single him out. That's the one person we want to arrest for this murder.
That's police work.
Can't arrest anybody else. They said that the defense said that the investigators lifted the fingerprints, but they didn't bother to find out who they belonged to. He said they neglected to have tests performed on other items of physical evidence. He also said the prosecutor's explanation of why the youths were slain made no sense. The motive doesn't even make sense.
We don't need fingerprints. We have his gun.
Yeah, we don't need a motive. A motive isn't part of. That's not part of a murder. You don't need to prove a motive. Right. They don't care. They just need to know the how and the why. That's or the how and the when.
Right. Far too many times at the end of these things, they all say, we still don't know why. Who cares?
Still can't
why?
Figure out why. Doesn't matter. They said the prosecution alleging that his career as a police officer was in jeopardy because of the complaint there. He said, quote, this motive argument makes no sense. Why would anyone kill 3 people and severely wound a 4th over a job? That's why it's so egregious.
Yeah.
That's why we're here saying, what a sick fuck. That's the whole point. The attorney general here said that the defense attorney's attack on the investigation was nothing but a red herring, and that the evidence proves that Sabetta not only committed the crime, but also thought he could get away with cold-blooded murder.
Yeah.
Yep. They said that Darrell Drake saw the man and tried to kill him, and the gunman was Sabetta. They said there is every reason to believe what Drake said. True, he got the caliber of the gun wrong, and he said the weapon was black, but he has no interest in this case other than seeing the correct person is prosecuted. Yeah. He picked Sabetta out of a lineup. He just didn't pick the gun out of a lineup. I don't care about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not making eye contact with a gun. I'm making, I can see a gun, and that's enough.
I saw your face, and that's good. Plus, after the fucking muzzle flash, too, you might have not,
Maybe blinded, maybe forget.
So this goes to the jury, and they deliberate for 4 hours.
That's fast.
4 hours, and they find him guilty of triple murder and attempted murder.
Holy, all of it.
All of it. So at sentencing, everybody's there. They have the victim impact statements. Jeremy Bullock's mother, Rosalind, she says devastation and abandonment, and this is betrayal to the a cop betraying the community. She said that she experienced terrible things after her son was murdered. She said, my life was shattered. It was like a nightmare. My husband ran away to another woman's arms. Jeremy, Chucky, and Frank had their lives stolen from them. I implore you to hold Sabetta responsible for his actions.
Yeah.
He made my husband's dick hard and want another pussy. That's what he wants.
Pushed him into the arms and the thighs of another.
Pushed him into the welcoming thighs of another woman. It's not fair. And I don't mean to make fun of her son died, but that's a weird thing to bring up in sentencing.
Why bring that up? Right?
Yeah, I get it because it's ruined our family, but you could just say it's ruined the relationship.
Yeah.
It's just weird to be like, he's fucking another chick now. So Michael Clausen, who's the survivor here, he said, quote, I hope he gets life 3 times, 4 times. They were 3 innocent kids. They never bothered anybody. They never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
No shit. So the prosecutor urges the maximum sentence. He says, quote, justice cries for punishment with this crime. He was a police officer. He murdered a witness in a case against him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is That's a big deal. He said what he was trying to do was commit the perfect crime, killing all the witnesses. It was an absolute execution. Mm-hmm. This does not sound good. The defense attorney said, listen, just a single life sentence will do. Just one. That's enough. He said, quote, he said, quote, we shouldn't punish him simply because he was a policeman.
He shouldn't get a punishment for each charge.
I mean, 3 people. We'll just say one. Who cares? I mean, come on. They were brothers, you know? I mean, come on. Same last name. We shouldn't punish him simply because he was a policeman. This case is not as simple as the state would like to make it. He, too, is a human being and a member of society. Not anymore. He just got convicted of murder, so he's technically not a member of society anymore.
What a ballsy thing to say.
He's being removed and put in a place where we keep people that are not belong in society, or that aren't in society anymore. Yeah. If you're in prison and you go, you in society right now? They go, fuck no, I'm not in society right now. I'm in fucking prison.
They're going to be in a society for sure.
Yeah. Probably the Aryan one, of the Aryan variety at that point. So he said, carefully consider his life. He has very little left. Very little left. Not very little life left. Very little in his life left. Yeah. He said, quote, he has a few close members of his family who stand by his side.
You don't understand. He's pathetic. He's going to lose his job, you guys. This isn't
fair. He's getting fired, guys. This is crazy. You know how hard it is to find another job right now? He's going to have to fill out. He doesn't even have a resume. He's fucked. He's fucked. He has no computer skills. It's not going to work out for this guy.
It's tough around here for him.
Shit's hard, man. Shit's hard out here. Shit's hard for all of us. So, yeah, that's how that all goes. He said very little left. The judge, what do you think? The judge is going to have a lot of sympathy for him?
Man, no way.
Superior Court Judge Dominic Cresto. Yeah. He said that. Wow. Yeah. He said this is good. All he lived for was being a police officer. Who could possibly predict his behavior in the future if he couldn't be a police officer? He called them, quote, cold-blooded, methodical executions. Then called them deliberate, systematic, cold-blooded executions, and said that he was, quote, beyond rehabilitation.
Wow.
That is not good if the judge says that to you.
The judge said that.
And then he said, you, sir, may fuck off. 3 life terms consecutive.
Holy.
Yeah, they were asking for.
Paroled on one, start the next, bitch.
Yeah, consecutive, plus 20. For attempted murder on Drake,
just in case.
He'll be eligible for parole when he's 78.
Oh, really?
Which is 55 years from the crime, because that would be what it is. So 78, he'll be eligible for parole.
My God.
Now, the mother of Jeremy, Rosalind, she gave a statement afterwards. She said that he's going to serve them, because she was happy that the judge said that they were going to be consecutive, not concurrent.
Yeah.
She said she spoke to the judge before sentencing. She had an in-chambers meeting, which I didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to do the victim impact on the stand only. She said she pled with him to treat her son's killer harshly. Wow. Michael Clausen's mother said Sabetta didn't receive the punishment he deserved. Quote, he murdered 3 boys and ruined the lives of their families.
What more did he want?
I don't know. And Betty Clausen also said, quote, we have to go on here. She said, he still lives. His mother can still visit him. My sister, and then she started crying and wandered off because her sister has a dead son. So Lorianne Malloy, remember her?
Oh, yeah.
Her discrimination suit here goes on. And during the investigation, they contacted her in June of 93. The Rhode Island State Police contacted Malloy in June of 93 to ask her some general questions about Sabetta. She didn't volunteer that he said that he should either have them killed or should kill people or all that shit. She didn't tell them that, nor did she mention knowing that he owned other weapons at all. So this is interesting. After the murder trial began, the state police received an anonymous letter claiming that Warwick police dispatcher and Cranston police officer Lorianne Malloy possessed information relevant to the prosecution. That led them to interview her. In that interview, she revealed her 2 meetings and his comments about the people who he might want to kill. But the state police asked her to report to their barracks for a third interview that morning. During that session, she told the state police about her visit with Duffy after the triple homicide. Yeah. Duffy's the cop who shot the gun out the window of his car that time.
She's a party.
So she's a party. I would say so. Shit face. Woo, boom. Let's do it. Police pressed Malloy for additional information, but she denied having any. The state police called Chief Blanchard and told him that Malloy was refusing to cooperate with them and asked him to come down to their barracks to speak with her. So the chief came down to the barracks. He prepared a letter of suspension and drove there. And as he arrived, the chief met with several investigators who accused Malloy of conspiring with Duffy to withhold information about the murders.
Oh.
Yeah, so the chief then met with Malloy and didn't ask her side of the story, just told her to cooperate with the investigation. She said she told them all she knew, so the chief handed her a letter of suspension and told her she's suspended with pay until the state police concluded their investigation into her alleged conspiracy with Duffy. Okay. So the chief also barred her from participating in training activities and from entering the police headquarters building.
Oh.
She's banned from the property. So she was on suspension for 9.5 weeks.
It's a long time.
Long time. And a sex movie. So she, while suspended, she received her salary, but lost the opportunity to work overtime, she said, to participate in training sessions and to work on special details, all which would have provided additional pay. While suspended, she also said she suffered emotional distress and damage to her personal and professional reputations as well. On several occasions during her suspension, she was required while testifying as a witness in connection with the arrests she had made before her suspension to explain in open court why she had been suspended.
Yeah.
Cops have to go testify. So on every one, they go, aren't you suspended right now? What are you suspended for? Oh, withholding murder investigation stuff. We believe her, or do we believe my client who said he stopped completely at that stop sign? That's what we have now.
Yeah.
Which is easy. I mean, that's the thing. Once one little piece of dirt, that's why they cover shit up.
Right.
A lot of times with either cops, with prosecutors, things like that, they cover shit up because, football players. But with this, it's one piece of dirt. It unravels everything they've ever done. That's the thing.
Ruin a cop's credibility, and what else do they have?
If a crime lab fucks up once, they're ruined. Every time a defense lawyer's that comes up, they're going to say, oh, didn't you mess this up that one time? And they're going to go, yeah, but things are better now. And it looks suspicious. So they said that the retired police chief, the jury ends up coming back here saying whether this is discrimination or not. Yeah. The jury says that Chief Wesley Blanchard acted out of gender bias when he suspended Malloy. They find in her favor. The jury said it was compensating Malloy for sex discrimination and a violation of her 14th Amendment right of due process.
Yeah.
So they said that this is a federal jury, decided that a police chief acted out of gender bias when he suspended her, but took no action against two male officers being investigated for an unrelated murder cover-up. I guess they were in the same boat as her, just in a different with a different case, and they didn't get suspended, but she did. It was like an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah.
So a U.S. District Court jury awards $23,000 in compensatory damages to Lorianne Malloy on Thursday. She only asked for $5,000 in lost wages.
Okay.
And they gave her $23,000, the difference for physical and emotional suffering. So, she said, I answered all their questions, and I don't know what this game was they were trying to play with me. She's like, I don't know what they wanted from me. Right. They wanted more information.
Yeah, and they're trying to justify their actions and behavior, so they need to ask more questions. That's all.
Totally. Blanchard, I guess, did not suspend Captain Joseph A. Duquette. He was accused of obstructing state police in a 3-year murder investigation.
Whoa.
Not suspended, though. Nor did he suspend the target of that investigation, Warwick Detective Jeffrey Scott Hornoff. Hornoff is awaiting trial in the killing of Victoria Cushman, who was beaten to death with a fire extinguisher.
What a guy.
Great guy. Jesus Christ. They need some better cop testing in this
suspended?
area. Not suspended, but she was suspended for not saying enough. So they said that the judge had told this jury to accept as a matter of law that Blanchard, the chief, had violated Malloy's right to due process and all that kind of thing. She said that he did not. The chief said he didn't charge Malloy or give her a hearing because he never intended the suspension as punishment. He suspended her with full pay while the state considered whether to charge her for not reporting that Sabetta had made several threats against the teenagers a few weeks before. State police didn't charge her with a crime related to this, though. So she said, I thought he was just blowing off steam, and that was that. So Sabetta appeals as well.
Really?
One of the things he appeals is that he didn't understand the nature of the Miranda warnings.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's a cop. His father's a cop. And he owns a television. And he's going to tell me he doesn't fucking understand Miranda warnings? Kiss my balls, you fucking douchebag. Are you kidding me?
See, Kojak.
Give me a fucking break. It's 93. Law and Order's been on for a couple years now.
Yeah.
You know your fucking rights. So they said that his contention was that his oral statement to the police, I don't want to talk about it right now, constituted an unequivocal invocation of his right to remain silent. But they said that actually requires, at minimum, some statement that can be reasonably construed to be an expression of a desire for the assistance of an attorney. So he didn't say, I don't want to talk about it right now. Give me my attorney. He said, I want to talk about it right now. So that might mean when I get a glass of water, then I want to talk about it. Or I'll talk about it in 2 minutes or 5 fucking hours or whenever. But it's not, I need a lawyer.
Right now. He treated it like a goddamn wife would treat a dinner conversation.
Lawyer is the magic word.
Right.
That's the magic one. Attorney, I want. I want attorney. If you say that, then you have a case. So they said that, if a suspect makes a statement that's equivocal or ambiguous, in that a reasonable officer, in light of the circumstances, would have understood that the suspect, not subject, might be invoking the right to counsel. They said that they do not require the cessation of questioning. You don't have to stop unless they specifically say what the fuck they want. So they also say that, because he said the words right now operated to qualify and limit his intent to remain silent only in the regard to that moment. So that's exactly what I said. So he also complains that the trial justice abused his discretion in refusing to permit a proposed expert witness for the defense to testify concerning the reliability of eyewitness identifications. They were going to bring a guy in to say eyewitness identifications are unreliable, which they are. But if a guy's shooting you from 6 feet away, you might, you know.
You got within 6 feet of the guy. That seems like it'll stick in your mind.
It's different. And they're not strangers either. If they all have seen each other before, it's kind of familiar people. You are good at eyewitnessing them. It's strangers you're bad at eyewitnessing. So they were saying how they wanted to have that. A psychologist, they said many factors affect a witness's memory, recollection, and perception, including stress or observation of a weapon. That's true, too. A lot of times when there's a weapon, people cannot identify the person holding the weapon because they only look at the weapon. They don't even see the person. It's just like a blur with a fucking gun. That's all they see is the gun, because that's what's dangerous, because that's nature. Your eyes focus in on the most dangerous thing, and that's the threat to you, you know?
I suppose that makes sense, yeah.
If there was a lion, you wouldn't look at his ass, you'd look at his teeth. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. So it's a nice ass on that lion. So that's what they said there. Anyway, all of that shit. They said that Drake's identification could be unreliable because he was shot and under stress and there was a gun and all that kind of shit. So they're going to say, he shot the guy. How could he possibly know who it is?
Right.
Which is a weird defense. So they also said in rendering his decision on the admissibility of evidence, the trial justice expressed some doubts about its reliability. The trial justice ruled in another case that it still pertains and that to allow the testimony would serve to confuse the jury more than assist it. That's what the defense is saying. So they said there is too great a danger in allowing testimony labeled expert if the requisite reliability is absent, especially where the subject matter is within the comprehension and knowledge of our jurors. They know whether he fucking saw the guy or not, is what they said. Shut up. So his appeal is not going to work, apparently. So 1996.
He's appealing again.
No. That was 95. 1996, the families of the dead and injured people
suing him?
All suing him.
Good.
It's a big lawsuit.
Wrongful death, yeah.
Yeah, wrongful death. They're not only suing him, they are suing 2 patrol women. They're suing Duffy and Malloy as well, and the cities of Foster, Cranston, and Warwick as well.
Police departments.
The police departments.
Yeah.
So They claimed filed claims totaling $14 million with the town of Foster last week. So, well, first, before they sued, they filed the claims. Okay, the town, you owe us $14 million. Now, it's a town with 4,000 people in it. They don't have $14 million, obviously. Yeah. The town treasurer, Darlene Weiss, said the town is insured for liability up to $1 million per claim. Any excess would be paid by the taxpayers. That's how that works. So the town took no action on the claims, so the families had to file it in court. So they seek wrongful death damages against Sabetta and the towns. So they filed a personal injury suit that includes Duffy, it includes Malloy, the cities. The suit alleges that the town of Foster was, quote, grossly negligent in hiring and or retaining Sabetta and William Asfeld, who was on duty the night January 9th when Sabetta knocked Frank Sherman's teeth out. That was the guy who was with him. The suit also alleges that officers Duffy and Malloy there knew of Sabetta's anger toward Frank Sherman because of Sherman's brutality complaint, but failed to notify their departments, the state police and the Foster police, and said the threats of behavior there. So the suit declares defendant Sabetta expressed anger over his suspension and the complaint had been filed against him by Frank Sherman. He indicated he might lose his job and blah, blah, blah. So they this goes on. This is 1995. This is filed. 1999, it's still dragging on.
4 years.
If you want to get money from someone, it's a bitch because it takes years, and then they can appeal, and that takes even more years, and you might not get shit. It's like if you go, I'll sue for that, good fucking luck. You'll be dead before you see a dime. Enjoy. It so doesn't work like that. So the civil suit apparently hinges on whether the town of Foster was negligent in hiring and retaining Sabetta as a member of the police force. The Foster police chief, Cattell, that idiot again here, I'm going to call him. He's kind of a jerk off. He went on Current Affair immediately. Well, let me tell you something. Like, get the fuck out of here. Do your job. Yeah. He testified that Sabetta always seemed like a meek, quiet sort of person. That's what he said. He wasn't vindictive or, let's say, aggressive. Then I saw violence and I did something about it, is what he said. So he's like, I didn't see it until he killed 3 people and then tried to kill a 4th. And then I said, you son of a bitch, I'm on top of you, buddy. Once he'd committed a triple murder, he did something about it. That's literally what the guy said. So he answered questions about Sabetta and the condition of the police department, and Cattell said that on his first day in Foster, the police department was a mess. He found 4 guns in an unlocked desk drawer when he walked in there.
What?
And the desk was just not the main desk, but another auxiliary desk in the chief's office.
4 unlocked guns just sitting there.
Just sitting there. He would say, I would say it caused me some concern. I felt better if they were locked up. Me, myself, I'm a different type of person than the former chief, and that's the way I wanted them to be. I'm a different type of person. I'm responsible with firearms. Not a complete jerk-off.
Different.
He might as well have said, that guy was a jerk-off, is what he...
I mean, nobody's going to rob the police station and just grab guns. All these guys are trustworthy around here.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, they're all ready for fucking action. He said when he suspended Sabetta for assaulting Sherman, Cattell said he called Sabetta, told him to bring his gun, badges, mace, and handcuffs to the police station. He said Sabetta arrived with a garbage bag full of police gear, but told Cattell he forgot to bring his gun. So Cattell said, I remember it was a Sunday morning, my day off. So I followed him over to his house in Cranston, and I was going to go in, and he said he didn't want me to. So I waited outside, and he got the gun to me. He said he didn't know that Sabetta had a second police-owned gun, which is the .357.
That's a second police gun.
Yep. He used his second service revolver as
Wow.
his... He did know about Sabetta's own firearm, which is a semi-automatic. That's the 40 cal. He said that he also kept several police uniforms after his suspension. Witnesses said he was wearing police department trousers at the time of the murders, obviously. He said the only thing I could retrieve from him would be his service revolver issued by the town of Foster. When an officer retires or is suspended, you don't retrieve their uniforms. They are their own personal property. I guess you have to buy your uniforms.
Yeah.
I wanted his gun. That's what I wanted. I wasn't interested in any uniforms. So there's some heated exchanges here. He said in order to carry the weapon, he'd have to have written permission. there. He said, though, Cattell emphasized that Sabetta was not authorized to have the .357, even though it was issued to him. Yeah. He said you'd have to have granted written permission. He had to have qualified with that gun. Granted, he did in 1990, but he did not qualify in 92 and 93. It's state law. He had no right to have that gun. So it's a gun he had qualified for, taken home, and they just never got it back from him when he lost his qualifications. So an expert for the defense testified that the correct standards were appropriately applied and complied with the hiring of Robert Sabetta and did not fall below those standards. They said that the court heard from Lorianne Malloy as well, and she said that they said maybe he should kill Frank Sherman. And she said, it was said in a long stream of, as I see it, frustration. He was upset over the incident. He was venting with friends from the police academy. I didn't take it seriously. So there's all of that. The ruling comes in on this here.
Yeah.
The Superior Court finds that, number one, Robert Sabetta is liable. Him. Yeah. He's gonna have to pay. But the town of Foster is not liable for anything here. Right? Wow. That's, I don't know, man.
A guy didn't qualify for a weapon, and he had it for 2 years in his possession?
A town-owned service revolver that he used for murder?
Your responsibility to keep track of those weapons?
I guess they would have said that, well, he could have killed him with a different gun then.
Yeah, I suppose.
But he didn't, though. He killed him with this gun. That's the problem.
He killed him with that gun because it doesn't trace back to him because he doesn't have any documentation that he owns it.
Exactly. That's why he filed the serial numbers off and threw it in the goddamn fucking river. Or dropped it gently and gingerly in the river, we should say. Placed it gently in the river. Ah, that's pretty. The fish will have a nice time swimming around that. The jury does order to pay order Sabetta to pay the families of Frank and Charles Sherman and Jeremy Bullock more than $1 million in punitive and compensatory damages. But Sabetta has not a dime to his name and no assets. Whatever's in his commissary account is what he's got right now. So it's unlikely they'll ever receive a cent out of this, the families. Jeremy's mother, Rosalind, said, it's almost ridiculous that they awarded us that money. Sabetta doesn't have any money at all. The town should be held accountable for its actions. A small town needs to be held accountable for its missing guns.
Yeah.
I got to agree with that. They got to keep track of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
They said the department lost track of the gun. The jury's decision that held Foster was negligent in its hiring practices, but that the negligence did not cause Sabetta to commit the murders. They said you were negligent, but you couldn't predict that. The police chief, Cattell, said it was bittersweet. He said to Rosalind, who is Bullock's mother, quote, I'm sorry, Roz. He said before, sorry, Roz. Roz, because they all know each other.
Yeah, and short for the first name, not even the first name.
Not even the first name. And he said, quote, I know, this is Cattell, I know the families of the people involved. I feel deeply sorry for them. It's been 7 years of living through this thing. I got lost between a rock and a hard place. Okay. Yeah. My loyalty has to be with the town of Foster. I don't know. So Charlotte Sherman Fontaine, who's Frank and Charles's mother, was granted a total of $849,338 for her loss and the estates of her two sons, and the Bullocks were awarded $600,000.
Okay.
Darrell Drake was granted $227,693. He'll never get. And Michael Clausen was granted $153,060 for not being shot, but for having the living shit scared out of him.
The guy that took a 357 to the fucking rib cage got $100,000 more.
Not even. No. $75,000 more.
$75,000.
Jesus Christ. So the town solicitor said he believes the families will try to collect their damages through Foster's insurance carrier, because he did find those liabilities against the town of Foster, but that's in their insurance range here. So they said, this is what this guy said, quote, he was all but fired, but there was nothing else we could have done under the law officer's Bill of Rights. It seems contradictory to seek damages through the town, but that's the position the plaintiffs have taken all along. After the verdict, they left together, the families, and they said that I'm just glad it's over and all that sort of shit. Now, I find this interesting with this whole thing because they get them. I don't understand They sue the town.
Uh-huh.
The town gives them some money, but not what they're asking for.
Right.
And then they say Sabetta's responsible. But how is the town not responsible if they didn't collect a gun that they were supposed to collect, and then he used that gun? I don't understand that.
They're just hitting it with, that's the guy that used the gun. That's it.
That's it. I don't get it. But what? I guess it's not for me to get.
He did.
I'm not on the jury. Yeah. So February 27th, 2000. Okay, this is right after all this. Sabetta is in his protective custody cell because he's a cop, so can't be in regular Gen Pop here, at the Adult Correctional Institutions on February 20th, 2000. And investigators from state police and the ACI Internal Affairs Unit and the Prison Special Investigation Unit begins a probe when they found that correctional officers making rounds of the intake center found Sabetta lying unconscious on the floor at 4:30 a.m.
Uh-oh.
Cranston Fire Department rescue crew was summoned, but the medics were unable to revive him and he died.
Holy shit. What did he do?
They don't know. They don't know. He just died. They think it might be natural causes. Might have a heart attack or a stroke or something. He's like 30 years old. He's not even 31 yet. He's 30.
He's a baby.
Yeah, they said that they took him for an autopsy, and he's dead. Betty Clausen, who's Michael's mother, said, "It's never over in my mind, never over for the people involved. I have to be careful what I say because I'm so angry inside, but that family lost a son now, too." It's a nice thing to say. Wow. The Kettel says, "My condolences go out to his family and his father. I feel so bad for them, but I can't say that for Sabetta. The hurt and the harm that everybody's gone through, I can't say that for him."
What are the chances that if he doesn't go kill these kids, he still dies of all the stress that it causes him to not?
Yeah.
Can you, God damn it. That's so sad.
Yeah, and he tried to kill himself fucking less than 72 hours into this. So I feel like he's never has done well with this shit.
No.
So the families talk afterwards. Rosalind Bullock says, I had a feeling that people wanted to forget about the whole thing. So when they saw us, because they're saying that they said they never felt supported by the community with their lawsuit. They always felt like the community didn't support them in it, and they should have.
Yeah, because somebody told the community, if we lose, then you're paying this, not us.
Absolutely. She said, I had a feeling that people wanted to forget about this whole thing. She says, so when they saw us, it was almost like they didn't know what to say to us and they wanted to forget about it all. Yeah. And that hurt me quite deeply. They said that Sabetta's death brought back their feelings of bitterness about how they were treated. She says, Bullock, even 7 years later, I'm still trying to get one foot in front of the other. I'm angry with Robert because he has had the power to shatter us twice. It's like a VCR tape you keep hitting rewind on. This is Michael Clausen's stepfather. It's like a VCR tape that you keep hitting rewind. If there's a big article in the paper, you need to read the article, even though you already know every word. This is Michael's mother, if someone loses a child in an accident, it's acceptable. You don't just go, que sera, sera, but
acceptable.
I guess in the totality of your life, you can accept it.
Yeah, it's certainly easier to digest.
Yeah, you put it on the back burner, she said. But these murders make it even harder because they're so shocking. She said, quote, it's like he was in a war. My son says it's with him every day. Every day he sees it and feels it and hears it. So, yeah, that's a lot. They said that the sense of community that she thought was there was lacking because she said her neighbors have hardly said a word. This is the mother. Yeah. This is this mother. She said everybody was so worried about that bridge. There was a bridge, the Swamp Meadow covered bridge, and they said vandals burned it down in November of '93, and the residents were so upset they took up a collection for supplies and banded together to rebuild it.
Wow.
Okay, so she said everybody was worried about that bridge. After Sabetta, not even a nickel, not even $1 was offered. We didn't do anything wrong. Oh, that's what she said. Not even $1 was offered. They were cared about a bridge, but they told us to go fuck ourselves. Wow. And they said, we didn't do anything wrong, the family. We were in our homes, in our beds, and our kids were getting killed, and we had to go on the offensive. They should have run to us to see what we needed. So they said the families waited in vain for apologies, charity and offerings of support, but they got ugats. So instead they had to file a lawsuit, and they said everything in the trial of the lawsuit dredged up all the details and hearing more about the violence. And Bullock, Jeremy's mother, said soon after the trial, the civil trial, she ran into a woman that she knew. Their sons played Little League together.
Yeah.
Her dead son and this woman's live son played Little League together. The woman told Bullock she was sorry about her son, but glad she lost the lawsuit.
Yeah,
thanks,
what
Marge.
is that?
Thanks, Marge. Appreciate it.
These people
I didn't want to pay
around...
another couple dollars in taxes now. Y'all can fuck yourselves at that point.
These people sat around their tables and were like, that money-grubbing bitch.
Yeah.
She lost her kids, you guys.
Money-grubbing dead son bitch.
Oh, my God.
That is fucking wild. Residents feared that a large award for the families would spike their taxes, but the town's insurance carrier said they would have paid up to $1 million, like we said, and because the lawyers advised them not to speak about the case until it ended, the families were unable to explain. So they weren't able to make a statement in the paper.
Why take it out on that mom? Why don't you take it out on your fucking police chief?
Yeah, go run up to Cattell and go, why didn't you get that gun back? They said that this is the mom said, you usually hear about communities rallying. Our community wanted to forget. She said she doesn't blame them for their reactions. She said, I don't think it was ill will at all. They wanted to forget about it. It frightened them. And they said, well, why do you stay in this town if it's like bad memories and people suck? And she said, it's my home. So, okay, yeah. She said every year, though, the anniversary of it makes her feel terrible. She said, I don't hate Robert Sabetta. I never did. I hated what he did. But to hate somebody or resent somebody is to keep them with you in their life. I miss Jeremy terribly. That's the hardest part. So they said actually Jeremy's mother said that she considered sending flowers to Sabetta's family, actually.
Really?
So they felt bad. Yeah. They said they didn't because they didn't know where to send them, but he said if he had an address, he would have. And he said, quote, we have no animosity because we have nothing to have animosity against. It's, how do you say it, past tense. They said after hearing that Sabetta had died, the stepfather said that, quote, I said, what do you, I guess the mother burst into tears, one of the dead boys. And the stepfather said, I said, what are you crying for? And she said, now his mother has lost a son too.
See, that's why she deserves the fucking money. She's got a goddamn heart.
No shit. She said, now his mother knows what it's like to lose a son. Now we want to see it end. Let it end. Let God rest his soul and have it be over. So, quickly, 2015, an author, kind of a famous author here, Thomas Cobb is his name.
Yeah.
He wrote Crazy Heart, which was the Jeff Bridges movie that he won an Oscar for in 2009. So he's he went to Rhode Island. I guess he was teaching at Rhode Island College in 2010.
Yeah.
And he ended up writing a novel called Darkness, the Color of Snow. And it begins with a traffic stop gone bad and a young cop, beating somebody up. Something within the cop snaps and he walks into a garage where some of the young men from the traffic stop are working and he starts shooting.
I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, well, he said it was that.
Yeah.
He said, he wrote it on purpose. He said, quote, I live in Foster, so I've been thinking about this for a long time. I didn't know any of the people directly involved in the crime, but when you live in Foster, there's not much more than 1 degree of separation. I couldn't help but see the damage that was done. So he said that, it's an art. He sets it not in New Hampshire. He sets it in like upstate New York or something. He said, I'm not a nonfiction writer. I'm a novelist, but, he said it's still, he's using a real event like Law and Order, ripped from the headlines.
Ripped from the headlines.
In his, it's a guy tries to arrest a young man during the traffic stop, but they struggle, and the young man stumbles into the road where he's hit and killed by a car.
Yeah.
So the guy is suspended, and then it goes into murder, and that's how that works. So there you go. That is Foster, Rhode Island, and a fucked up little story of town politics, too. That's the thing with this one, it's a lot of town politics mixed up in this shit.
Oh, they fucking vilified that mom. Is that the word?
It sucks. Yeah, glad you lost.
Right.
Sorry about your son, but glad you lost is a lot to say. I don't know. If you enjoyed that story, tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. They all let you review pretty much.
We'll sure take
it helps out a lot. We don't care. Apple, fucking Spotify, Audible, wherever you're listening, do that. It does help a lot. Thank you for doing that if you have done it already. And get on if you haven't. God damn it. Also, shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for live shows.
Yeah?
We are sold out until August the 12th when we are in Chicago.
Oh.
Tickets left for that. It's going to be our biggest show ever. And we are doing a one-time only case there.
One-off.
We'll record it later on in the year, but
One
we're
of
not
a
doing
kind.
any other live show.
Yeah.
It's the only place you're going to see this particular live story this year is in Chicago on August the 12th. Get your tickets. Also, tickets available for Charlotte, Atlanta, Philly, and Dallas, and a few left in D.C. as well. So get in there, get your tickets. I know they're later in the year, but they're going fast. So
They are, yeah.
don't want you to miss out. Get in there, shutupandgivememurder.com. You also want to follow us on social media. We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Murder Small on Twitter.
Right.
So check us out there. You can find out all sorts of updates of when things are happening, including find out when Your Stupid Opinions is coming out. Because we don't. It's soon. We know that. We're just waiting for a green light to say, okay, go ahead and upload it. Because the show's done. The show's ready. We're just waiting on the feed to be done, paperwork to be, all this shit that we have no control over. And it's just the nature of the business. It's nobody's doing anything wrong or bad or, just life in general. When you want to do something, it always takes an extra step that you don't know about. So
Welcome to the show.
welcome to life. So there we go. So it is coming out very soon. Keep your eyes open. Your Stupid Opinions, because we're jacked for it. Absolutely. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of your bonus materials. Anybody $5 or above, you're going to get a huge back catalog of like 200 episodes to binge on and new episodes every other week. One crime and sports, one small town murder, and you get it all, my friends. This week for crime and sports, what you're going to get is in-ring boxing deaths.
Yes.
One of the worst ways to die, to be beaten to death while people cheer.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible. That sounds like an awful way to die. So we'll talk all about that over the years. It happens way too often, by the way.
Right.
And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about a documentary that is wild stuff, but then it ends up not causing, but there's more wild stuff after it. It's called American Hollow. These people takes place in Mudlick, Kentucky. And they make the whites look like the royal family. They really do. They are just fucking really, really out there. It's wild. Some of the stories are crazy. And then from it, you see this terrible guy in it that's obviously got problems. And then he, of course, kills somebody well after the documentary. We'll talk about that, and we'll get some updates on some of the characters and where they've gone and who has no teeth left and all that kind of thing. So, hint, it's most of them. So anyway, that is patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that. And, goddamn it, you get a shout-out. And when does that shout-out happen, Jim? Right goddamn now, Jimmy. Hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever pull us over, bash our teeth in with a flashlight, and then shoot us all while we're trying to work on our fucking sweet 84 Mustang. Jimmy, hit me with them right now.
This week's executive producers are Christine Lee Gomez, I believe, Yvonne Henson, and Jordan Bennett. Congrats on your new job, Jordan. Good for you. Congrats. That's a big deal. Other producers this week are the new high school grad Maureen. Careful, Maureen. The world is full of cunts. Peyton Meadows,
full of cunts.
Chad Novak, Liz Vasquez. Happy birthday and retirement. Look at you.
Oh, Liz, working it all out. Happy.
All on the same day. Eva Dodson, legendary sports writer Peter Schmuck, Gorilla Monsoon's comb-over, Shitta Perlman's brother Myron Putz, Rose Bellinger is getting married. Congrats, Rose. Janice Hill, Alexandra Jones, Christopher Almodovar, that's right. Eddie Centeno's loving memory. Wish you were here, Eddie. Jesus, that hurts so much to say out loud. I don't know. All right.
Sucks.
Harry Strange, Rhiannon Montgomery, Nicole Frenette, Owen Schneider, Manly Hilburn, Kimberly Arthur, Heather Webb, Kristen Bayless, Taryn with no last name, Daniel Nash, Robert Cunningham, BG, Amber Antonora, Jennifer Norgate, Brandon K, Ashley, oh boy. Okay.
Ashley, oh boy.
I don't like it's her last name, Negro. That's her last name. I don't know what you want.
N-I-G-R-O?
N-I.
N-I-G-R-O.
Yeah, I thought you said A. All right, we'll move along.
It's the last fucking name. What do you want?
I don't want to say it.
It's a color
Vines.
in other countries. There's Vinny Del Negro not allowed to fucking go anywhere?
Don't want to say it.
Retire from the Spurs and go
quit.
bury your head in the sand.
Right off in the sunset.
The sunset.
I didn't do it. Elizabeth, with no last name. Marco Bonaventure. No last name. Kristen Willis Donnellan with no last name. Terry Powers, Anna Can 97. Charlie with no last name. Stephanie Atkinson Fowler. Selena Mallier. All right, Tim Foster.
I'm sure it's one of those.
Shane Vergens, Shira Scott, probably not either. Stacey Haynes, Amy Dunhee, Ren Newport, Gabrielle Amaya, Kendra Watson, Jason Attic, maybe. Blake Tice Taylor, Brian and Cindy Price, Jennifer Chopolas, McKenna Thompson, Shay Beaumont, that's probably what it is. Khalif Ogburns. Yep, off. Linda Maldonado, that may be Maldonado. Susan Western, Jason Allen, Shane Stevens, Ryan P. Rosette with no last name, Chatta Ya Prick. Shutta ya prick. All right. You shut it. You shut it. Kate Soros, Munica Peeling. Monica, maybe. It's Munica. Latoya Wendelbo. Rissa with no last name. Kateri, Agnes, Tyrone Bowman, Jacob with no last name, Ricky Stout, Janelle Boyer, Eva Dodson. I said that. Thank you, Eva. You've done it twice. Both ways. Kyle Gager maybe. Zach Russo, The Ledge with no last name, Alexis Smith, Micah Bailey, Walter OGB, Garth Laster, Christopher Reese, Michaela Goodsell, Bryce Payne, Abby with no last name, Aaron Painter, Michaela, nope, that's Phil McCracken. You fill your own Kraken. Janet,
Scottish therapist.
Is it? Was that who it is?
It's a SNL sketch. Right. It's Phil McCracken, Scottish therapist.
There you go. Janeth Herrera, Amy Listenik, Bill Compton, Cindy L., Alan Hurst, Kiki Mora, Dan Watson, Connor Stewart, Bryce with no last name, Neil Gambino, Dee Dee Heritage, Andrew Kolb, Jay Steyerwalt, Tennille Benediga, boy oh boy, Angie Klein Hamilton,
boy oh boy, Adia.
Heather Nelson Leonard. Heather Nelson Leonard. That's yellow leather blue. What was the yellow?
You almost said leather hen. I heard it coming.
It's very yellow leather, red yellow. All right. Ron Mex 07. I believe that's a reference to Ron Mexico. Matt with no last name. Stephen Powell, Jacob Moylan, and Coulter Hansen, Stanley Pierre, Hannah Britton, Jen McDougall, Heather Langston, Kayla Parr, Bethany Belts, I believe, Belts, Nathaniel Fuller, Raven DeBryan, Raven and Raylan Cooley, Katie Clark, Dawn Lebecki, Tyler Dasta, Brett Cooper, Bradley with no last name, Netzjaval. Never going to get these. Atticus and Benji.
You got
Daniel Schaefer, Joseph Calvi, Caesar Salad, James Petralka, Nathan Diamond, Sandra Lacey, Julie Ianducci. Julie Ianducci.
Hey, yo. How you doing?
Tiffany Robertson, Adela Molly, Tom with no last name, Scott Fennell maybe, Robin Largo, Annabelle Leaf. Rhonda Benjamin, Robert Trajana, Trahant, Isaac Ramayaldo Vega.
You are in a bad hole right now. It's all falling apart.
Jesus Christ. Ryan Potts, David Kearney maybe.
Fenders falling off, fucking hubcaps rolling down the street.
Saide Orozco. Perfect. Julie Pryor, Dave with no last name, Joe Spino, Joyce Ola Sagana, what the fuck, Mick LeChunk, Lil Chunk Bates, and Michelle Garrity, probably Pat Garrity's daughter, Stacy with no last name, Matt with no last name, Katie with no last name, Marilyn Mejia, Ann Margot, Michael Evans, Abby Cole, Michael Shank, Adam Shriver, Natasha Warren, Donna with no last name, Kendra Dillman, Jay with no last name, Heidi Goyette, David Hawkins, Sam Grandy, Max Guard, Ty Everett, Wendy Lambert, Crystal Lamb, Shane Weir, Kate Parker, Amanda West, not Adam West, Ian Hesacker, Jessica Calixto, Becca Drews, Jazzy Q, Emily Mullins, Schmegma in your eye, gross, Cameron Garcia, Gabriela Santiago, Juliana with no last name, Rahas Pimpleकारी, what Pietragallo, Leslie Klein, Dixon Idame. What? I don't know what it is. Idame. How do you want me to say it that makes it funny? Anthony Pike and all of our patrons. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all that you do for us. We hope you love the bonus stuff because we love fucking making it. So keep it coming. Thanks for your loyalty and your everything. Just thanks for hanging with us. We really do appreciate you being there for us. And if you want to follow us on social media, find us. Very easy to do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Find that little menu with the links, and we are in there. You can find us and everything else right there. And keep coming back and seeing us more for more crazy shit, wild fucking stories. Until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
It takes one guy out there to say, who's that Kyle who thinks he can just get on a microphone on a podcast and start publicizing this?
From iHeart Podcasts and Tenderfoot TV comes a new true crime podcast, Crook County.
I got recruited into the mob when I was 17 years old.
Meet Kenny, an enforcer for the legendary Chicago outfit.
And that was my mission, to snuff the life out of this guy.
He lived a secret double life as a firefighter-paramedic for the Chicago Fire Department.
I had a wife and I had 2 children. Nobody knew anything.
People are dying. Is he doing this every night?
Torn between 2 worlds.
I'm covering up murders that these cops are doing.
He was a freaking crazy man.
We don't know who he is, really.
He is my father, and I had no idea about any of this until now. Welcome to Crook County. Available now. Listen for free on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.